the year, who I would have thought would be the favorite in this game, and I wouldn't be giving you the answer I'm giving you today. But these guys have been looking incredibly dominant, incredibly smooth, and a win today locks them into that playoffs, which is what we're all aiming for.
And we see the coaches, we heard from them earlier, Alex and Six Fingers. Oh, it's Mind Freak! Coach Mind Freak, what's up?
I like it.
I like this.
They know each other very well. They know each
do.
other. He's leading the huddle now as well. Respect it. Alex is walking on as the assistant coach today. I've been there. Got to do that little walk. Got to jog fast. Can't waste too much time. I like it. That's a power move.
I mean, I think it's an interesting thing where it's like he is been put in as a sixth man at least in this game, and Patman's coming in and subbing in. It seems like he's still being involved in the discussion. He's still being involved in the team. So hoping there's no bad blood there or anything like that. Looks like it's all still good with the boys, and he's still going to be involved in some capacity with the team and in this game in terms of giving his support. Core member of the team.
Berharapnya PRX. Dan Arianjay.
Does seem to imply Mind Freaks will still be involved in a lot of ways, including as a player, but who really knows?
The six-man roster.
Hey.
We can't get rid of it. T1 did it one time and everybody copies. That's how it goes.
I mean, it seems like it's very trendy right now, as is, you know, just jamming double duelists and saying, my guys can go frag. That seems like the generic thing you've got at the moment. For PRX, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, they've taken out their long-time most stable role player of the controller, and now we're just going into chaos, I think, and we'll see what they're actually going to end up choosing to play and who's going to be playing what on which map. It's going to be back into big question marks, which is something that Boom might have to adapt for, and I think might be something that PRX can be more comfortable with. Here we go on Pearl. They are once again playing double duelists, similar to what they played against DFM, but this time it is the Phoenix and the Yoru. I like the solo init fade whenever you do play it as a solo init, especially on maps that you need to be flexible on, like Pearl. That's going to really help them pressure doors and art and things like that.
And I like Jing and something back on Duelist on that comp, I have to say. But across on the side of Boom, keeping it a lot more simple. KO.
Hujan deras anjir, ini kayak mati lampu kah? Mati lampu.
Old school Pearl comp.
Deras anjir.
This is a very new school versus old school battle on this map.
And Devi on the controller. So he's going to be the Astra player, and we'll see how consistent those roles are map to map as we keep an eye on this new PRX.
Definitely. A lot of things are swapping around here. This is a very exciting way to start the first series of today, Boom versus PRX. We're going to be sending it over to our casters, Komodo and Quack. In what sweater are you wearing? I love it.
Oh my God! Thank you very much, Vic. Yeah, do you love it? The whole thing is, I asked
Deras
Wardrobe
banget
for
hujan anjir.
something that would describe what I feel like if PRX won. So yeah, fuzzy, comfy. I feel pretty warm right now.
Maybe I'm glad that sometimes I can't see color.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, in all honesty, but you know what? We do have to think about what the compositions look like. Hey, I'm Quack, this is Komodo. Any thoughts so far?
Look, got to address the buffs and nerfs that have come in as well, so whether or not they're going to have a little bit of a play in towards this specifically with the KO and the Yoru. Of course, they're coming on both sides, on Vice as well with those Thorns, so I think that's something that we need to see if that's going to have any real impact coming in towards this. I think in terms of the veto though, Quack, I don't think Boom would have seen this one coming. When you look back towards kickoff against DFM and you're getting smacked 13-1 as PRX, you know, are you coming into this and it's like, all right guys, we're getting Patman in the roster, that's a buff. Yeah, let's play Pearl.
That's definitely what you are hoping for. At least a lot of the PRX faithfuls in the crowd are hoping for that as well. Some Boom fans as well. But we'll see how it all fares off, because these hungry beasts have been nipping at the heels. They're pouncing on that opportunity to lock in playoffs. Can PRX find their roar again, or will they face extinction? What possibly could be that? And not right now, on the attack.
Well, they need to certainly bring something, isn't it? The 1-4 record so far for them this year, quite abysmal for PRX. So starting off with their own map pick, getting a pistol's not going to be a bad thing for them. Of course, Berserks has been stellar throughout the course of this
udah pakai Yoru nih something ini. Biasanya nggak pernah pakai Yoru.
Over it long will be.
Yeah, it's a bit of a duo stack as well. You've got Yoru right up at the back, but still at least a bit of a trade from Jing, and then to flash out, create the pressure down B-long.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily need to see PRX keep on going with this one. You know, one of the approaches in running the double duelist is even though that they do lose something here, there's still going to be options for them. Blaze as well. you know, look
Batman
towards
gantiin
what
siapa nih?
PRX
Udah
are running
apa
here,
ya?
and we can potentially see some
Siapa ya Batman
parallels
ya?
to the likes of 100 Thieves who will play
Oh,
Ascent
main
on
freak,
the
main
Neon
freak.
instead of the Phoenix here for Jing.
So those double duels definitely possibly coming in handy, but as well, you know, this composition, especially Jing on the Phoenix, is something that PRX are really familiar with. Now doubling back in towards V-Link, but Famous gets ahead.
Yeah, Famous back on his jet. You know, it's one of those agents that you would usually assume he's very capable with. This time looking the wrong way though, and he'll pay the price.
It's pretty interesting, isn't it? We've seen Famous on the Neon so far now, but back in Ascension last year on the jet, but this time kicked out by Jing. A quad being picked up on the pistol.
Could be in for the ace to start off the affairs of PRX here. NC Slasher though, salvos, and a ghost in hand. This is all going to come down to what angles he can isolate and what shots he might be able to hit.
Jing looking a lot more comfortable. He's online for the ace as well, and receiving first contact, spots him out, and there it is!
Ace.
Just kick things off for PRX.
Aja
Well,
touch.
if you want to see PRX's current scoreline of being 0-2 start off to try and tackle in towards stage 1, get towards, you know, Masters Toronto, back towards the international stage where we didn't see them for the first time at the previous Masters, right? Starting off with an ace, not a bad idea.
Certainly a very welcome sight, especially for the PRX fans, possibly in the chat as well, but it is still really early, Komodo.
Yep.
I have seen a lot of these
Anjay.
fumbled before.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can't really forget about that one, that's for sure. Got to also remember Boomer, the team that currently, you know, have 3 individuals that we've seen run some aces before.
And leading in some statistics, clutches and kill deaths as well.
I mean,
Sayang, mending kita ke Discord sayang, jelas. Berdua nonton.
You gotta see them be consistent. If Famous is getting out an operator on
Kalau
this
udah pulang.
defensive side later on, that's something that you're gonna have to try and piece together as PRX to shut that one down. This time though, up very quietly towards B long. And now they explode.
Stars might reveal their intention, so maybe.
Mereka nggak beli anjir. Udah 5 per second nggak beli.
Aneh
banget.
By the sharp shooting from the
Kok
PRX
burik ya?
members. Now down to the last 3 from Boom.
Ini kok cuma 720 anjir.
Yeah, of course, no one really close to, you know, any ultimates. Quite expensive ones on the side of Boom.
720 anjir.
See if they can get
Nggak
any shots
1080.
out here, but the hunt is certainly on for PRX.
Wow. Even pushed them all the way far back into spawn. Prowlers revealing their location. Forsaken with the ghost, of course, he hears everything, and he
Burik
will
banget, anjay.
everything as well. Doesn't fall. Picks up the quad, and that's a lot of
Salah
money going
tekan
to the
kali.
next round.
They're on point today, that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
anjir.
talking about some avenues to potentially even pick up a bonus round, right? Having the
Jelek.
run back for Jing, getting close towards
Jadi
Forsaken
burik
on the
banget,
Steel
Cok.
Garden as well. I mean, you're certainly seeing the right players go for the right hunt, the right pathing as well. The flawless round to come out on the second. So now I'll shift my eyes over towards Boom, right? What do we start to see with this composition? What setups can Shiro really try and position for the team?
At least for now, he's positioning himself closer towards Art, possibly hinting at perhaps a bit of mid-play. They do read the intentions from PRX into the A site.
Yeah, but the 0 point, I believe, only spotting Patman, right? So when you think about how many players you're tagging up with that blade, you know, does one player signify a full shift and rotate? It starts to. NC Slasher is rotating over. First casualty is Jing. Forsaken falls too. That's an immediate shutdown on this bonus quack.
Yeah, PRX gonna have to head off to find another opportunity somewhere else on the map, but I can't imagine too much going their way right now. Every single lane is being locked down.
And something not able to progress outside of club either, playing on that Marshall. So it's just dirty info for them at the moment that they'll try to recollect their forces together. Something I've been impressed with from Boom so far throughout this stage is their decision-making and their patience, right? Berserks, again,
That's the crazy thing.
I'll highlight his util positioning, and I think most importantly, discipline has been gorgeous.
Yes.
But this time, it's going to be NC Slasher and Famous here at B.
You know, if you would have told me that Boom would be a disciplined team, or a controlled team,
Yeah, crazy, right?
2025, yeah, I would not have pictured that, but they are looking phenomenal right now. Famous holding the angle, spots out, gets the information for the team as well. Divide trying to make use of the angle, but getting gunned down, a bit of a wall bang. Double kill now, looking for the third, but Patman will be able to answer back, but of course, not before the rest of the team descends upon him, so Boom able to answer back.
Surviving with 4 as well. You'll take Famous as the only casualty in that round. Not able to get out an operator just yet, of course. I think that's one of my things that I'm really going to be kind of waiting for in this series as well, right? To see if Famous is going to be able to keep on his #1 operator kill collection at the moment. And how, I think more importantly, PRX are going to be battling against that, right? Because you're not seeing any Vipers or anything like that they can play with the walls. You're going to have to try and flash him off the lines, which, I mean, you look at the comp that PRX are running, they've got 3 players that are going to be able to drop in some flashes against him.
And that's exactly what they're looking to do, at least for now.
Maybe not like that if you're flashing yourself, Jing.
Just for a tiny second, so at least for now, it's still not the worst thing in the world, but there are a lot of Killjoy traps on the site itself.
Steel Garden in.
Blaze Wall as well. So trying to get that pinch on, trying to get the spike planted as soon as possible. Jing with a run it back will continue pushing down a single lane. Berserk though holds down Halls with a lone shorty. Something tries to deal with him, will be able to do just that, but not before.
Got another.
Yeah, he took down a second player. PRX now working at a numbers disadvantage, and the site is too hot for them to get the spike planted. Divide trying to provide some assistance, but that smoke goes a little bit too deep. Shiro and Famous have already gone past the sidelines. It's just something left now. Fake gate crash as well, but the spike still down. The stealth drone has spotted him out. This round is quite possibly over unless a miracle is pulled out of the hat.
Yeah, you just don't want to see Boom give him individual jewels.
He's got no util as well, Komodo.
Very difficult.
And speaking of how disciplined Boom has been, look at this!
30 seconds left.
No individual duels. Famous holding the angle, spots out the shoulder, headshot easily found. 2-2.
Really good discipline, really good trading game from Boom in that. The positions that they're holding as well, the fact that Berserk is able to get away with 2. I mean, he's just been so consistent throughout the games that we've been seeing so far.
Kenapa dapai, weh? Kenapa dapai yang... Ngapa main flick yang diganti ya? Dapai ganti anjir.
But the run it back wasn't able to get deep enough to be able to capitalize on anything there. So something that you'll want to see PRX reel in a little bit.
Kalah Byron.
The protocols
kalah
are there for them. I mean, I'm seeing them sneak up towards B, right? With all the Killjoy utility that Berserk has down in there, and they're trying to break in, but it's the trading, it's the right angles from Boom. Very aware of their strengths on this map so far, which, I mean, it'll be further accentuated now that they've got the guns and PRX do not.
Absolutely. I do imagine, you know, this is a composition that Boom is quite familiar with, having, you know, studied PRX in the past, possibly. Of course, their most recent matchup was like 3 years ago.
I mean, talk about study. How much study can you get from a 13-1?
It's been a while, but, you know, they are, you know, both Indonesian teams somewhat. Indonesian plays both sides, at least right now, though. Forsaken trying to create a little bit of pressure. Feeling some heat himself, getting taken out. Meanwhile, the site getting fired back as well. Forsaken, though, with this Phantom pickup, will continue to push through.
And because it's a 2 versus 4 at the moment, Famous has to bring out the Blade Storm because the Outlaw is going to be that distant gun.
If he can find the right position for it, at least. But look at PRX.
Yeah, they've pilfered these guns as well, right? So now they're playing with Phantom, Vandal. We've seen Forsaken really be picking up the Phantom lately, and how damaging he's going to be able to be with that one. So this might be a bit of a thrifty to come through PRX's way.
Well, at least they haven't quite sussed out Famous's position just yet. He has a slight opportunity, possibly, but he has to be very careful as well. The Nebula blocking so much of it off. DOS9 arriving right on time as well. Famous clears the angle, spots out Jing, has to back off.
Needed that shot, honestly. Time to be bought with the Blaze.
Okay. Can DOS9 pull a rabbit out of the hat? Not quite. It's going to be Divide with the Sheriff shot instead. Famous now goes for the peek, but Jing in with a flash as well. It's Forsaken to find the kill. I mean, he started this off with the Sheriffs into the Phantom pickup and a triple kill in the round.
Yeah, he had a great lurk up through mid, honestly, just catching the Boom members none the wiser, and then you've got multiple members in Art that are just able to explode and play strength in numbers, right? Good patience from PRX in the way that they're navigating around the map, so it's good to see that the decision-making from them is wise at the moment.
We've seen Boom, you know, getting a bit of a read for how PRX might play, especially with the run it back from Jing in the previous round. But, you know, PRX also showing that they have a lot of cards up their sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, when Devi's picking up this Astra, I mean, it's not an agent that we usually associate with him whatsoever, right?
Oh, bit of a pop flash as well. So now PRX looking to exploit the mid lanes.
It was just Berserks though, and he did have the Sheriff, right? Because Famous now has the Operator. I wonder if PRX are going to be ready for this.
Would have to. Famous currently leading with 19 kills on the Op right now, but instantly dealt with by something. Look at how he pilots that Yoru. Gate crashes all the way towards the back and throws the off sight lines.
I wouldn't be surprised if they want to just grab that Operator and go for a save here as Boom. You're in a 5 versus 3 deficit. It's going to be very difficult to try and get in on a retake here. You just have to play towards the later portion of this half. you know, how can you activate Famous with this operator? This is the round where just, yeah, the one impact kill in mid, space created for PRX to explode into B, and a simple combination where something is able to TP past Famous with that operator on the line towards Street, get the kill. Pretty just ordinary. Couple of shots and the round's done.
This is exactly how you would want to play this agent composition, right? With the flashes, gate crashes towards the back.
And any kills that they can find on the hunt here are going to be quite damaging.
Ooh, Forsaken.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to find anything though. So well done for PRX. Another round on the board on this attacking side.
Yeah, a bit of discipline for PRX as well, but we shall see, you know, a bit of a second opportunity.
So,
or Famous to find something with his op.
Guri anjing.
You know, Coach Six Fingers in here for some words. Are we gonna have pseudo? And what strength there's going to be. So far, not seeing too much, you know, in terms of the KO buff, if you want to call it a buff that comes through on those flash drives, and the Yoru clone as well, right? Having a little bit of extra money that you need to spend on it. I still think something's been playing that quite okay.
Yeah, we haven't really, you know, walked straight into any sheer walls just yet. Yeah. You would imagine it does come into effect at some point, but there it is. Hey, assistant coach Mindfreak.
Well,
taking a sip of coffee.
Is he in? Is the camera's closer to him, right? So does that make him in the actual coach slot? Like, is that what we're seeing here?
So Alex is the assistant coach
Alex
today.
Is the assistant. He can just chill. No desks to be broken today.
Not yet, at least. Well, we have
He's got that big
6 big booms. I don't know. He does have that somewhere, but at least right now, I have to imagine this timeout has to be called for Boom to reinforce mid a little bit more. PRX has been exploiting that in the past few rounds. So there it is, a couple of pings on the map. Shira positioned nearby as well. He hears the footsteps.
Yeah, a big test for Shira right now.
Tries to dodge it, holds the angle, but he is pretty much pinned down. Ooh, something. Tries to get ahead with a bit of a gate crash, but it's going to be a double for Shiro right now. Pop
Main sama kok Alex.
The underhand toss. Fragments to
Lagi jadi analis.
Forsaken just repeaking it though.
Yeah, spotted out by the drone. Wanted to try and bring something back into a workable scenario for PRX, but at this point in time, some aggression dealt with by Shiro very nicely. And it's kind of just going to really stop PRX here. The spike is down at doors. You've got an operator looking after that as well. I like the timing on NC Slasher getting out that drone, by the way, just to really put Forsaken in a spot of bother. And something that I was kind of wondering as well, right? When was DOS9 going to kind of be brought into the fray for Boom here? That was a great piece of utility to assist Shiro.
Adjustments back into the B side as well. And now it's going to be Famous holding the line with this op. But Divide, well, recalls the star.
But there's 30 seconds, right? You need some really big heroics at the moment. Famous with the operator is extending his kill lead with that gun. And now Jing, name of the game is damage, because the credits, I mean, they're not too flashy for Boom.
Spotted him out as well.
Yep. And now you got the operator back on the line again.
So Boom, incredibly aware. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking, especially with that op down. You have to imagine Device somewhere nearby, especially with that star being recalled. So Famous, very much playing the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, I look towards him as well, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, you've got a couple of flashes on Jing, on something. If Famous is going to be holding these really tight lines, he needs to either play on a little bit of luck where he's not blinded to get the shot, or go for the lucky blind shot, right? So I'd be kind of interested to see how his repositioning is going to be around the map, because that's going to be one of Boom's strengths, right? It's on this defensive side, really repositioning where he's going to be, how they're leaning around this map, what tells that PRX are going to come out with.
Huge home crowd watch party cheering out for Boom as well. In Jakarta, where Ascension was held last year, but back into this.
You've got the operator on this A site, and you've got Berserk's utility at the moment. So this dimensional drift, yeah, I mean, PRX are going to really try and go with this one. Cosmic Divide invested, but the utility is going to stall them out.
Just trying to push them off positions. The Nightfall being sent in as well. Famous just firing off warning shots, but not quite finding anything with pot shots. He does find one all of a sudden.
Yeah, Null
With the
Command.
Cosmic Divide now, so a bit of a pop flash through possibly. They're trying to play around the smokes. Null Command just does keep them at bay for the time being. PRX trying to hold on to the current positions. Pop flash sent through, and there it is. Bounced off the wall. Something gives himself a bit of an escape route. Blaze wall just by further
Udah beli
time
klasik
for
aja nih.
PRX.
Iya.
Do they go back into A main? Still not quite safe.
Udah rilis ya
Boom
klasiknya.
are suppressing them with a lot of stray bullets. Something holds the angle. Famous in with a shorty. Something tries to go for the flick, but gunned down by Berserks as well. The Forsaken flick not quite there. Tries to hold it off right around stairs, but Famous spots the angle, sprays him down, a triple found in the round, and boom to tie things up.
Yeah, Divide to lose his life first, and
Halo,
PRX
these
still wanna
guys.
try and get the spike
These
plant
guys.
down and protect it.
Mana
when
nih
Shiro's
pronounce nama
Null
lu? These
Command is
guys,
in the mix.
these
I saw
guys.
the Blaze wall come up from Jing, but a missed taunt from Patman. Dodged at the right time for the Boom members, not highlighting anybody. Makes it extremely difficult for PRX to kind of win any of the duels there. I mean, the shorties are being played well. The fact that Famous finds that first one whilst blind, I mean, it really does hurt out PRX. But I really have to say, maybe they press the issue a little bit too hard when something's dimensional drift goes in and he's spotting out, you know,
Bingung
Famous,
pilih
you know
mana,
the
dis-
operators there. When he's spotting out Berserks, you know the Killjoy utility is going to be around the
Saran
side.
aku sih kalau kalian emang literally Indo Pride sebenarnya PRX Indo kah PRX? Enggak sih? Jatuhnya Singapura nggak sih kalau PRX, Cok? Yang Indo tuh RRQ sama Boom, Cok. Tapi kalau kalian emang masih mau pengen PRX buat ke Toronto ya PRX sekarang. Saranku gitu. Soalnya Boom kalah pun dia masih bisa ada chance tinggi buat ke Toronto. Soalnya mereka baru kalah sekali. Kalau PRX belum ada menang sama sekali.
We heard it from the coach's interview way before, you know, on the pre-show. Six Fingers mentioning.
Kalau dia PRX kalah lagi udah chance buat ke Toronto-nya kecil.
A very hungry team. Like we've mentioned, they win this and they are pretty much locked in for playoffs.
Yeah.
Gua belum samsek. Gimana ini makanya?
I mean, are they gonna make it to another international event? That's the question for me.
They might not even make playoffs at this point, Dion.
I know, right? I know. I think my little fun thing is org-wise as well. PRX and Boom last time, it was 13-1 over towards PRX. We've got a lot of players in the server.
Jing pensi nggak sih? Davai sih kalau kata gue.
Fracture.
Kalau Jing soalnya masih muda. Masih bisa berkembang dia. Kalau Davai kayaknya udah nggak sih kalau Davai retire nggak sih?
Current matchup where things are starting to heat up very much so.
Different positions though with the utility. Shiro, okay. He repositions over into this mid-con area. You did see the hot hands go out from Jing. It cleared where DOS is playing.
Tengok, ini ngapain mereka, Cok? Pada fokus ke situ semua. Konektor. Tab lagi ini di laptop. Di nge-lag. Hujan lagi. Apa sih namanya? Di tweet cuma 720 anjir. Maka aku pindah ke YouTube ini. Kayak salah setting deh orang VCT-nya.
This is the worst spot for the spike to be dropped in. Okay.
But now it's heard, right? 30 seconds to go. The turret has been recalled. Forsaken's going to get in towards the site. There's a nano to buy time.
That's exactly what I mean. And all he's got is just this sheer wall where currently placed. Might just give him some information. Arc goes back in, repositions, and now that's where he gets spotted out by Famous from the back. I mean, even if Famous wasn't there, Berserks was up by dugout.
Gak, maksud tadi itu ada yang coy, mereka lewat door kan. Dua orang ngadap ke sini coy. Di sini jelas ada si DOS9 anjir. Tadi kalau misalnya dapat bisa dapat dua tuh tadi anjir si DOS9. Tapi dia malah nggak dapat. Ente. Itu crossfire anjir. Angle di sini tuh cacar anjir. Nah, ada si DOS9 anjir lihat di situ. Kalau nggak ke flash tuh bisa dapat dua anjir.
Berserks again, he's just coming up with, you know, not the most clutch play in the round to be able to win it, but the fact that he converts that very easily into the 2 versus 1 for the team.
Burik kan guys, nggak tahu kenapa cok. Cuman 720 cok di Twitch, anjir lah burik banget cok.
Boom recognizing PaperX playing this double duelist composition, trying to work around B-Link as well, but now back into it. A bit of B-Long pressure. Famous back in with the up, and he continues to lead, and up kills! A second one going through. A bit of a re-peek, slightly whisked right past by, and Jing will be able to escape with his life, but still pinned down.
Jangan sampai pistolku jadi investasi bodoh.
I don't know if they spotted DOS getting in towards the corner. They can't really flush him out though, unless you want to try and invest a hot hand.
Hujan sampai hujan, Gip.
Play along the line.
Terus.
I don't know.
Lebat.
I don't think.
So far though, Famous, his damage is done, right? 2 opening kills.
Aku takut tadi mati lampu nih.
The Nebula.
Oh man, still trying to go in off of it. At least the Blaze kind of healing him back up for just a bit, but Famous instantly deals with it using the shorty. Shira off towards B-Link as well, blocks every single lane. No joy found at all for PaperX in this round.
Wah, no
Flawless
chance lah
rounds
PRX,
come
Cok.
through from Boom. Every duel won, and Famous
4-2 ke 6-4.
man. He's not scared to go in for it when, you know, you got the Blaze Wall coming up from Jing. Why would you expect a player who's on 30 HP to just challenge him with the shorty? You kind of don't, right? But that's what sometimes just the gusto from him to go in.
The morale boost from the previous rounds.
Yeah, well, it's 4
Said
in
it
a row.
before, Boom
Tapi
are
PRX
on
juga
a
masih coba-coba
hot
serang
streak,
baru
and
ya.
this guy's leading with
Enggak lah.
15
Batman
kills
di
right now.
What did I talk
Batman
about,
di
though?
announce
When
juga udah
Famous
lumayan
gets
lama.
the operator
Pasti udah
in
pernah
his
stream juga,
hand,
ikut
he is
latihan
looking
juga.
like a demon. And where is that gun again?
Oh, he's ready to go into Devil Trigger.
Dapat 2 nggak tuh?
Colette instantly shuts down that run it back from Jing.
Blades out as well.
PaperX continuing to look to bully their way through into it. Famous will be able to pull out the blades, but here comes that storm. Back into it with the shorty as well. NC Slasher holds down the line. Berserks to clean things up.
Tuh,
Boom,
mereka tuh
with
nggak
7 rounds
mereka
in
tuh
their
nggak ada
pockets
yang
right now.
mereka tuh nggak ada yang main kayak strat pelan-pelan gitu-gitu, Cok. Mereka paksain W terus anjir.
Maybe an overheat with the next one. Technically the collateral on the runner back, right? So Jing is not able to find some further positioning. That kill from Divide, I mean, yeah, you'll shut down Famous, but the fact that NC Slasher just gets 3 out of here, I mean, he's hot potatoing all the different weaponry. Berserks, he does not cave under the pressure around that A site that he has made his home. This defensive side of Boom at the moment really coming up a treat. And now for PaperX, a challenge in towards the A site, nice and early. Remember, the dimensional drift last time, they went into the site.
Tengok, dia nggak ada nge-clear, Cok. Dia tidak ada nge-clear site anjing. Yoru sebagai Yoru. Nampak orang kejar, kocak. Minimal clear site lah.
They're happy to possibly go for the retake. I mean, you've got the lockdown as well. Something in with the judge though, trying to buy more time and spacing. Steel Garden popped, and Boom are now all hovering around the site.
Style saya banget, enggak juga.
In to create some space around
T1 main rapi kok sekarang.
Jumping judge, and he finds the double, and that's the lockdown. PaperX has to evacuate the site. Petman unfortunately dug in a little bit too deep, and it's justified. Off to A main, and they know exactly where he is. Shiro painted in all white, and that's gonna be Boom to pick up the 8th.
The protocols in that round from Boom are absolutely gorgeous. This time they don't challenge the site itself. They allow PaperX to get in. They're going to be confident in their retake. Berserk's getting in the lockdown makes things really awkward for them
T1 is
as well.
Asia, Southeast Asia. Lah bukannya T1 ini Southeast.
The fact that the judge works a treat for Famers as well. They're just re-attacking this site from 4 different angles essentially. And then they know where Divide's going to be playing from as well. That is a amazing performance from all of the Boom members in the tail end of that second half. And now the switch up for PaperX, right? You got a question. You're playing double duelist.
Min satu geografi aku, Cok.
Side as well. How are their rotations going to look like? How is the timing going to look like in ingesting Patman in towards this roster now, having Divide on the Astra because he needs to be really attentive to timing for this team.
It's going to have to be key. Timing and getting a read for the rotations. PaperX have only been showing this single look throughout this first half, repeatedly pushing, repeatedly trying to bully their way through, and Boom have readily dealt with it.
You got to remember as well, I don't know how many people would have expected Pearl to be the pick coming in towards this series from PaperX. You look at the history, it ain't that crash hot this year, of course.
Boom's most recent Pearl play as well, back in kickoffs against Nongshan. That was a bit of a loss. But now, looking this way, 8-4 from the first half, they are happy to take this win.
You got to remember, though, as well, there was that match against T1 where they did lose at 11-13, right? There's question marks around that series as a whole. You know, Kaboom kind of could have won that in my eyes, but they didn't. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of help from them as well. Didn't look the greatest against Nongshim, who just had a really good idea on their defensive side, I'll be completely honest with you. And that's the sort of, you know, questions that I'm posing to PaperX right now. How is their defense really going to look? It's a 1-4 split, more structure to the A side, and boom. I mean, if they had the idea that this is going to be the
Famous
positions of
18
PaperX
anjir.
here, you know, they've got that
skill
well.
anjay.
They've run it right.
Certainly able to see a lot across the map. You've got that double initiator, and right now, just a clear out pillar gives them a little bit more confidence in pushing down B-Link. Something, though. Now, absolutely needing to get crashed the heck out of there. Okay.
Yeah. But time can be bought as well, right? You've got the shear that'll eventually be popped by Forsaken. He doesn't need to really rotate currently. And PaperX, they're investing what they can around this A side, thinking there might be a rotate back over there. But, I mean, this idea for PaperX is not it. Like, there's 3 players still surrounding the A side. A drone's coming in from Boom. You spotted out 3 players at long earlier as something. You had to call for the rotations earlier.
Yeah, at this point, you're going in for that full retake game, and it's not going to be the easiest. 0 point just to
Retake nggak
sure
tuh?
that something's still right around the corners, and the rest of heaven, everything all blocked off by the smokes. Oh, and here comes the salvos as well. Something continuing to try to sneak something through.
Which means you don't have them for the full post now.
Or at least hang back and hold it long enough. Famous happy to take the fights. The rest of the team all holding up by B-Long. But take a look at the mini-map. DOS9, where's he going? Here comes Shiro, though. Able to find a bit of a double. And PaperX able to answer back as well. Now Jing looking to tap the spike. DOS9's positioning,
it didn't get
timing on the peak. Might be able to surprise PaperX. They might have heard a peep as well, though. Now getting off the hand, but in with the classic taps. Instant frag onto Batman before taking down Jing. What is this one? Boom!
Yeah, that's really nice timing from DOS9. The approximate millisecond before the spike gets halved as well, and then they get vulnerable up by it. Famous just trying to dance around the site. The timing from Shiro within the nebulas as well, that is absolutely gorgeous to come out from him. A well-structured pistol to come through from Boom. A good idea at the beginning, the middle, at the end. Even when they're trying to establish the plant, right? Just getting those salvos down to buy a little bit of extra time. Really well done from them to continue this run from the tail end of their defensive side.
Off to the next round as well. Happy to carry forward with this momentum. Something on a Marshall, though.
And now it's heard. Turret down. But 4 players once more at this A site. This could be just a bit of a good fight here.
Well, the fight across the map unfortunately goes down the wayside as well. A bit of a flash. Patman will be able to pick up a double, but still met with force. Boom happy to collect on this round.
Yep, double digits achieved from Boom. This bonus round is going to be a bit of a do-or-die situation for PaperX to start off as well. If they drop this one,
Ini efek tidak menganggap Bang Rio ya guys ya.
To come on back, but of course, it's not over until it's over.
But it is now or never, Komodo.
Yeah, and on the defensive side as well, right? So you've got to see, are they going to play this 1-4 again? Are they going to get a little bit more proactive up through A? Because currently they're spreading a little default around the map. It's not the worst idea when you're going up against the lesser weaponry, but for Boom, they've got a bit of an A play.
And we have already seen Boom deal with the B site, quite effectively, especially with a 0 point as well. Now back in towards A. Clears out the forward positions.
Shiro went away from the null command as well, so if anyone gives him a peek and they lose their life, that's going to be huge for a post plant if he doesn't get it off the spike plant.
Wow. Smokes off, and it is Boom trying to look for a possible sheer wall, but instantly sprayed down by Patman and gang. So Boom having to respect a bit of this space now.
Yep. Creep on up, as saying the shear can protect them in art. You've got the thorns as well. Whilst nerfed, will still buy a little bit of time. Head out of the wall, there's the thorns. So it really comes down to this 50 seconds for Boom. Do they stay and wait to explode out onto this A site? Not the worst idea, and they're going to go for it.
Will PaperX be able to hold? Patman in with the off angle. Tries to hold towards stairs as well. Bit of burst through, and that's going to be that. Patman in with the quad. What a debut. I mean, back in from Naos into this game onto PaperX. His first day.
Yep, had to see something big come up from PRX in that round there as well, and just being able to bunker down on that site, disregard, you know, the utility at that point in time. That might be a bit of a blessing for them as well, right? Because they can just be focused on their crosshairs. Patman, he had a really silent first half, not gonna lie, at the back of the pack time and time again, but this time, taking the lead for the team. A Nightfall available is going to be a good ultimate to throw into this round, but it does look like here, Quack, might be an early contest up through B long.
Back into it. Oh, PRX pushing up as well, though. Oh, and it's instantly dealt with by Famous and his op.
And what did I say earlier? If you're playing these operator lines as Famous, are you dodging the flashes?
Apain
or
tu
playing
coba?
on a little bit of luck
Apain
and
tu,
timing?
Cok?
Well, the flash didn't meet its mark,
Jelas
unfortunately. Jing, a player that we've seen on Phoenix so often, gets the wrong timing.
Which is rather unfortunate for PRX, and look at how they're all struggling to reposition right now.
Yeah, there's going to be so much emphasis on Forsaken and what he can spot here. Of course, the shear is not going to be available right now for him.
And you're 5 and 10. You kind of know that Boom are barreling down this B long position. What are the rest of the players doing?
Haunt in, gets a bit of a reveal, but it's all the players from Boom looking to get out into the site. Patman, yeah, that was a bit ill-advised. Forsaken couldn't get any trades there.
Way far too exposed, and Boom are just surrounding this site. Shiro holding down Halls, the rest of the team, you know, they have that Teo in play. Salvo's possibly coming back online at some point. Hall's not cleared, hello?
Yeah, not even looking for him. You had to cut a couple of corners there as PRX, I guess. Like, I get the idea, but the fact that no one was just expecting him to play back holes, now you got to call the audible. Guys, we've got to save here. We need weapons going into the next round if we want to try and stop Boom from getting onto map point. I got to give credit to Boom. Like, the ideas that they're coming out with here, Quack, are amazing. The fact that they have that early engagement that they win, they settle down. PRX completely just, like, leave the site to Forsaken to try and defend who's spotting over at Street. How much space does that give Boom to just wait for Salvos to come back online? Wait for them to pop a null command and go in together as a team?
Or even just the
map
opening
pick
pick with
11-5.
Famous on that off. You know, something that maybe PRX were somewhat anticipating, but it didn't hit its mark.
Oh,
it did.
So there's the timing.
Oh
That's
my
the luck.
God.
That's the luck factor. It's either he spots them before they're blinded, or he gets it on a little bit of luck and timing because Jing is holding W.
Timeout.
And that's when I would love to hear an interview from Famous where it's not luck, it's just pure skill.
For sure.
It's what is the lyric? It's 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will.
And let's just add in there, it's Famous with an operator. It's just bound to happen.
Currently still leading in the op statistics.
Yeah, I mean, my question, again, I kind of think I want to harp on this issue at the moment. We know how powerful Famous is when he gets the operator in hand on the defensive side. Sure, on the attacking side right now as well, he's still making this gun sing, and there's no rhyme or reason as to why PRX aren't trying to drone him out, you know, sniff him out, get some early positioning, early reads. You know, if you want to try and allow the operator to not get on these lines, you're gonna have to play a little bit deeper because they're not winning these contests up through B ramp. They're not taking A main control, right? You got to fade on your team. If you're throwing in a haunt, you're throwing in some prowlers as well. You want to try and tackle some space, get in some flashes. They've got the flashes to do so.
I'm just hearing a lot of conditions working against PRX right now, Komodo.
100%.
You're working at diminishing returns. This buy, if it doesn't work out, you're facing map point. Famous still on this op, and this time happy to lock down the angles towards mid. PRX, though, stack up on towards the A site.
That's 2 suppressed off the 0 point, but there were 4 players in that bound, right? So a couple of dodges out, and now we get some A main control from PRX. They start to shift over towards B, but there's an absence of positions up the alleyway, right?
Lockdown, if they do decide to continue to push, not lockdown, sorry, it's going to be the alarm bot. So PRX can't quite push all the way through. Meanwhile, Boom.
If they do continue to this B site, time can be bought from Patman.
Pas batu mid, Cok. Ada apa-apa di mid, anjir.
There are a lot of players on the other side, though. The jump peak, can he sustain himself?
There's the ult, there's the C's as well. So time to be bought, but you're going to funnel them in towards Jing.
Does he have it? It is Famous with the up, and he shuts Jing down again!
Yeah, he's on the dry line, just not expecting them to be positioned in connector when you 100% would have to assume so. It's dirty. You cannot just waltz out there as Jing, as a solo player, into a question-marked number. There could have been 5 Boom members at that spot.
No flash either, so it's really unfortunate, but at least Patman will be able to answer the Pat signal. Continues to hold the angle as well, but here it comes. It's going to be dueling mechanics. Divide in for additional support as well. Something arriving around B long, but it's going to be PRX finding that pinch from towards the back of B link, able to
PRX
shut
ramen kelas
down
warnet
Boom's onslaught.
Nicely done from Patman to hold that one down and really
Emang harus
lock
dirombak
in
itu.
Boom. I will say
Iya, iya.
a problem that Jing, you know, goes for that dry duel. Yes,
Harus bisa
but
keluar
you got
dari
the
zona
Sagan
nyaman
still around
anjir.
the B site, you got his
Stop
utility as well.
WW,
So
nggak bisa.
there's a
Ini game
couple of,
ini aja.
backup plans from PRX in that spot, but I'm looking at this scoreline, by the way, Quack, you know, it's 11 for Boom, right? You can't make many mistakes. as
Absen Kap,
PRX
halo
on this
Arifin.
defensive side now, so these rounds have
Telat
to start
Arifin.
accumulating.
I have to imagine
Awal
it's
nggak
a
sih?
really tough
Next.
thing for Jing to deal with as well. You know, a lot of the fans, or fake fans, calling him different names as such, but he has to deal with this adversity now.
Ini guys,
Pushing up
PRX,
into
guys.
its A main.
It's the double duelists that are both 6 kills, right? They're not really too impactful in this game so far. 0.53 in A main.
And the sheer wall instantly tripped. Famous
Ya
on a bit of a
ketebak
journey
main
with
mereka
this
tuh,
judge
gitu-gitu
currently.
mulu.
Yeah, do they expect him to be pushed through connector? The Prowler goes into him, and the Prowler has just seen Famous, by the way, so they're very targeted on him here.
Run it back, suss out the judge,
Gelo.
but here comes Patman
Ambek ah?
as well.
Ambek
Now
ah?
the angle, Divine finds the frag against Famous, just
Tengok,
zero
Cok.
left. In with
Jing
the Sheriff.
apa-apa sikit-sikit skill, apa-apa skill anjing.
Gets shut down. PRX
Dia mau
happy to
lempar muli
collect
aja.
on yet another round. You've got 4 more to go.
Yeah, you need those gimmies. If there's a lesser equipped round to come through from Boom, you need those ones, you know, in a flawless capacity, or, you know, 4 players surviving, which is exactly what they do there, and really good conditioning as well, right? That shear goes up, making sure as a team that they're covering the alleyway still. If Street is lost, they're making sure that Connector is prowled out if there's anyone close as well. So the ideas and the fundamentals of space clearing is at least still there for the teams
Comeback
together as a
Comeback
unit.
real nggak sih? Comeback kan?
Starting to wake up a little bit. You gotta love the running back from
Dapat nih
Jing just to
momentum nih.
find where Famous is, but yeah, that was, you know, a bit of a half-eye round from Boom, and here comes the full force back into A. They've started to read for how PRX have been, you know, getting that early A main presence.
And if this was a quick A take from Boom as well, they could eventually have the gate crash over from something, which I believe, yeah, it's not made it all the way back into the spawn at the moment, but he does have the operator over at the B site, so you'd almost want to kind of not see him just fully disconnect from B here.
All right, he does kind of crash towards the back for a bit. Boom hasn't made a single peep thus far. And this is when they start to push down B link. Good pop flash as well. But Forsaken playing it safe.
Yeah, Boom, a minute on the clock still. They would have to bait out these stars over at the A side. That still has majority of PRX's force here.
Yeah, and with Forsaken jiggle peeking, he doesn't spot any more further down B link, so it's a bit of a read into this A site. Jing trying to force the issue with the flashes, but now pinned into his third position. And it allows for NC Slasher to find the double back in. Jing only finding one. Defy now has to hold and anchor down the site, but in with the Armageddon as well. He feels a lot of pressure. The Cosmic Divide blocking every single sight line. Clones out, but instantly dealt with. Forsaken able to find a frag off of it. Steel Garden as well. But look at NC Slasher, ready to hold. Just something left. Lose this, and it's map point for Boom. He's got an op Komodo. Peeks the close angle, swaps to the shorty, finds NC Slasher, and swaps to a rifle. Has a chance. But it's 2 players holding up by stairs. He taps. Creeps up front, not quite finding Berserks. It's Berserks who slashes him with a giant sword, and that's gonna be Boom reaching that crucial map point.
You gotta remember when those walls are up as well, your gun technically spotted first, so the fact that NC Slasher grabs that 3rd kill on 5 HP is absolutely ridiculous to come on out. I was thinking it was a little bit claustrophobic around this side at the moment. I mean, that shot is just absolutely brilliant from him, not gonna lie. Boom, they immediately answer back after the 2 that PRX get. And now it's 5, right? It's 5 map points for Boom.
Anjir, Famous 23 kill anjing.
PRX's pick.
Oh my god, and PRX decide to push without stopping a single beat. The salvos will slow them down, but Jing happy to fire back. Defy with the support as well, but what is the spray transfer from Shiro?
Balik lah bang.
A bit of
Udah
presence
tuh bang.
found by
Udah menang
Forsaken.
orang
Now
dah bang.
smoke
Balik
off
nggak sih
around
bang tadi
stairs.
harusnya bang.
He continues to creep through though. Position not quite found. Shiro lets him slip. And DOS9 will pay the price. Forsaken collects with the triple.
Masih
Finds
dipaksa
around,
mereka
but
cok.
keep
Udah dapat 2, udah menang orang anjir.
And then there was 4. Shiro. Nice plays off the flash drives, don't get me wrong. I thought he'd snuck in towards the site, trigger
5
discipline
lawan
towards
3 masih
Forsaken, but
stay di sana anjing,
2 versus
balik
2.
lah pulang gitu.
Forsaken's able to at least bring that down into
Nah,
an
ini nih.
advantageous position
Nah,
as well.
4 lawan 3
Right? There's
cok.
a couple of these duels that go a little bit
Ah,
haywire.
4 lawan 2 lagi malan.
How
Gila
blinded
gak
were
sih
they
bro?
in main when they first tried to take all of those duels, right?
Yeah, I feel like Haywire is putting it kindly at this point. This is a
Dari
really
luasan enggak, Pak,
dicey
tahun nyaripin.
situation for PRX to be in, and every round still cut so close.
Yep.
Boom now in with a bit of another half buy. Famous on the
Menang, Cok.
Bucky, Berserks on the Guardian.
Menang anjing.
Everyone watching with bated breath.
Pretty much. Back on this operator line as well. Seen a couple of those lopsided shots from something.
Ah, betul loh.
Good
Bro.
flick. And that deters
Yeah,
and more
that ain't
peaks
big,
from Boom further down this B position. Into B link though, and that's where Petman takes a hit. Jing now has to come up huge, and he does! The double picked up!
Pakai Phantom semua nih orang-orang
Thorns
ini.
instantly tripped, and he's gonna look to top himself off with the hot hands. Forsaken for additional support.
Phantom
The
dia kah?
spike
Phantom dia?
on the ground. Famous looking to pick it up, has the Bucky, and he fires off a shot. Pump action indeed.
He wants one more. If he could get his blades up here, there's a chance if PRX give him all of these 1v1s.
Forsaken though with this angle, really tight. It's not gonna be doable for Famous, even if he does peek through.
He wants the other gun. He wants to get the sheriff, the sidearm. I don't know if he got it. I don't think he did.
Don't think so. So still with the Bucky, he tries again, but shut down by Davai, and PRX still hanging by a thread, but slowly, reeling themselves in.
Yeah, but these are the sort of rounds where you've got a lot of your ultimates available as well, right? So if you want to try and navigate a retake back in towards a map, a bit of a comeback, you're going to have to rely on a couple of those pivotal ults.
Yeah, very much so. But I have to say, in this round, Jing redeeming himself with that little double, holds down the line for PRX, has to keep that up for the rest of the map if they are to convert this into an overtime. This is PRX's map pick.
Well, that is certainly the scary word to be saying when we consider Boom. But we'll see. Contest over towards the B side early on. Drone to push Forsaken back. Timing on the deeper Nebula. That's the 1-4 setup again here for PRX, where they really need to start to have some rotates back over here. Boom, though, not necessarily needing to stay at this B site either. Some lurks over towards A. You've got Patman, who's actually just prowled in the street to clear both sides. So there was, positions around the map that Boom technically could have snuck into.
Gotta be very careful as well, though. I mean, you mentioned those ultimates from before Komodo. PRX has a few, but Shiro has the null command.
Yeah, but it's the passive approach from
Betul
Boom at
sih,
the moment that if
something
they do let
Jangan
the
mati
timer go
something
down
ya, dia
extremely
tuh.
low, those ults could essentially
Di
just win the round
amati
for
dah.
PRX.
Shiro across the map as well.
Zan,
Boom
Zan.
trying to get a read for where PRX
Tawan dia.
has set up.
The 0 point did just get something on this deeper A line as well.
Something. Gotta be careful, buddy. He does have the op, so looks for an escape route again. And this is where Boom recollects themselves towards his B site. PRX's rotations.
Forsaken starts to rotate towards the A site, but you do have 3 players here. Remember the Haunt, the Nightfall here from Patman is going to be huge.
Boom keeping them split 3 and 2. Nightfall does find its mark. Jing in with a run it back as well. Defy to receive first contact.
Yep, they've called
and
it.
that is the entire round right there. Jing finding and dealing a little bit more damage to Boom's economy as well. 10 seconds and Boom looking for the save.
As I said,
PRX. Starting to look alive, starting to come alive, but Zero! What is that? Microflicks again. Divide enter back as well. NC Slasher to find a little bit more. It's not bad in terms of economical damage.
Yeah, all the damage at the end there, I mean, it's pretty costly.
It's okay, we got money, boy.
Opting for the save and you only take 1 gun out of that previous round. There's a discussion to be had here, that is for sure. What did I mention about the ultimates that are going to be there, right? As soon as that Nightfall comes down, that pretty much staves off Boom from being able to get in there. It doesn't matter that the null command goes in as well. When you're trying to just get in towards the site, you've got to give yourself a little bit of breathing room if you've not destroyed a lot of that Vice utility, if you've not found anyone on towards the site, right? That's a little bit too passive from Boom in that position.
And that's going to be the final timeout of the match being called by Boom. Can they find their round? 2 chances left, Komodo. Yep. And PRX have been starting to get a grasp of how Boom are looking to attack. They've been able to read some of the rotations across. I mean, maybe not even quite, just trying to read for how Boom are trying to work their way across the map.
Yeah, but any slip-ups on the PRX side, and you got to consider as well that that might be the map done and dusted, right? So I wonder how passive that actually makes PRX here.
This is going to be quite tricky for sure. I mean, the ultimates are already spent now.
Gue berharapnya itu PRX lolos juga ke Toronto, Cok. RRQ, Boom, sama PRX. Berharapnya gitu,
They
bro.
have lost their first maps in both of the series that they've played so far against DRX and Gen G, and then won the second map.
3 tim lah.
I don't know, Komodo. I'm not a very superstitious guy myself, but we will see. PRX have been known to be a little bit superstitious themselves, but at least for now, needing to read the map incredibly well. Divide does have the Cosmic Divide. It is Boom on a bit of thrifty, though.
If this round does go PRX's way, you will have the Armageddon on NC Slasher as well as the lockdown.
Trip 3, kalah trip 3.
In this round, where you now have a player advantage.
The pistol kill.
Drone going out.
This will push something off the line. They know that the operator is around this A site, but do they know that mid is being crept up on by PRX?
Toss as well. DOS9 low HP back in towards
they
mid
do invest the
window.
lockdown.
Spots out the next DOS9.
He saw Forsaken. He saw him as well.
And that's a lot of info. Lockdown investment might find its return right now. Armageddon pushes PRX even further, and that's famous with the blades. A lot of space being collected on by Boom. Just 2 players out from PRX.
Thrifty, guys.
Entire round. Is it doable? Not
Thrifty,
quite.
guys.
Just Defy left, and he's spotted out by the back. Knives in towards the neck of Defy. Famous finds the round. The final score at this match, 13-10.
A flawless Thrifty to come through from Boom. Would you have it any other way? A classic PRX moment. Unfortunately, I can't believe that has happened when you think that they should be gimmied the round, Quack. They make it difficult for themselves. DOS9 had a shocking start to this map, but the timing he has just found in that round for the 2 kills and the repositions for the rest of the team to explode out into that site, oh my.
Cek far.
Let's go, Dio. Aduh, musuh di mid ya. Gua TW ya.
By Boom. DOS9 with the positioning. DOS9 finding the second kill as well. Even the lockdown finding its back.
Ayo dong, disiplin nggak sih? Disiplin nggak sih?
Just a lot going the wayside for PRX. It doesn't feel good at all.
I mean, with that last round, what I talk about, right? If they can get the Armageddon and they've got the lockdown, the blades that eventually come through from Famous as well. I mean, a couple of ultimates can certainly steer a map at some really pivotal swing round times. So PRX's map pick and Pearl, a question mark to come into this.
Gak pernah menang map pertama, Cok. PRX, Cok.
Not going their way, which
Sabar bang, sabar Bario ya. Ente PRX di Thrifty, di Thrifty flawless bro. No one die man.
How is the desk feeling though? I wonder. I mean, big time Pilsky, they look pretty hungry themselves. But how about you, Victoria?
Guys, aku asar bentar guys, 5 menit guys, asar.
Hungry. I feel a little sick, actually, personally, with this. But I have to say, Big Time and I were losing our minds throughout the course of this map. I think it says a lot about both of these teams. But Boom undeniably look so good.
I'm hungry for some more Boom gameplay. Let's go map 2. I don't need to break this down, but that was honestly very impressed by Boom that game. Have to say, I feel like when the round breaks down, they have so much discipline. The way they trade each other. I mean, this is an incredibly solid team from a macro perspective. I feel like this was an outclass, to be honest. If that's me.
Oh, 100%. I've watched Boom so many games, and there's one thing I can rely on is that Boom won't play well in the mid to late round at times, or they'll throw rounds away, or not really communicate with each other well. I feel like you didn't see any of that. They look legitimately like a world-class team in some of those rounds there on Pearl. Famous is insane on the operator. Like, he's the best opper in Pacific right now. If you look at the numbers, he's getting so many op kills. They're getting such great usage out of it. He's an absolute force to be reckoned with, both on defense and attack there. But I think overall, what impresses me so much about Boom in that game is the discipline and the structure, the way they played those XVXs in the mid to late round on attack. They're playing off each other well. They have these contact setups. They're not over peaking at all. No one's getting nervous. No one's getting antsy. Boom are playing with discipline and confidence right now. And the way that some of those rounds are structured, I really want to know what's going on behind the curtain. I want to know, like, because Boom, they've been this core that's been together for such a long time, guys. And, you know, it feels like they're unlocking a new level and they're fixing a lot of the issues, at least in some of these games, that have been holding them back for a long time.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, I feel like this is a different Boom, even from what we saw at Ascension, right? I don't think their style was at all like this at Ascension.
They were all over the place at Ascension. They would smash one game, they would get smashed one game, they would throw rounds all the time. But, you know, I mean, they should have even won the Ascension Grand Final. They had like a 5v3 on the A side of Bind. Like, that's the perfect Boom example round that lives rent-free in my mind.
This Boom don't lose that round, if you ask me. The way they're playing right now?
I don't think so. Totally agree.
I think it's really interesting. I mean, the main point here is that a lot of the squad has been together for a really long time, has been playing through Tier 2, has been playing in various tournaments, but we haven't been seeing it play at this level. And the question, of course, is what changed? We talked to Six Fingers about this. What do you bring here as the head coach? He didn't even want to be the head coach, but he's like one of those guys like forced into the leadership position, and those often make the greatest leaders. And a lot of things that he wanted to do was keep the fundamentals of what Boom was really good at, which is just damn good aim. And they're really raw, really fearless, but then cleaning a lot of that up, and we see that come through today. And we were talking about this in the green room, just how impressive they are, and they belong like amongst the greatest right now. If they continue at this level,
for sure,
this Boom looks fantastic.
It's a deserved playoff spot. Famous with the op, unreal in this game, both on attack and defense, always in the perfect spot at the perfect time, barely missed a shot, just disrupting the attack on defense and being a presence that you have to fear, and then being part of the overall attacking structure. He was fantastic to watch, but Shiro was great as well on the KO. He had like 5 opening kills as well, and his util was so on point. I mean, it's an agent that just got a buff, and he's using it bloody beautifully right now. You can even see it in the calling structure on attack. Like, there was one round where they went B late round, but you can see he's like flashing the opposing op off the line before they even complete the round. Like, he's really thinking about the macro of the game, especially with your IGL on the KO, can be really, really powerful.
Yeah, the thing I wanted to highlight from this game really was more with PRX, and when we look at PRX's composition, we see big ultimates. We see the Yoru ult, we see the Phoenix ult, Vice ult. They have a lot of potential to be able to win these rounds, and for me, this was the problem in the first half. They only managed 4 rounds when they have such powerful ults. If you're cycling them, you're using them well, you should be able to win these rounds. We see the Steel Garden, and they lose a body before they even get into the site, so this has to be aggravating for PRX. A comp like this, your ult rounds are the most important rounds. They need to convert those, especially if they're playing a similar style across these next 2 maps, because you cannot be wasting the value that these massive ultimates provide.
I mean, they had a hot start. It's Pearl attack side, guys, and they're not even playing one of these crazy, like, triple Senti comps that you're seeing on Pearl at the moment with the Astra or whatever. I mean, the opping presence of Famous was very difficult for them to deal with, make no mistake about it, but with the start they got, I mean, Jin got a bloody ace on the pistol. You're playing a snowball duelist agent like Phoenix. You should be just chaining those run-it-backs together, back to back to back, and start running away with the attack side, and they just didn't. I don't think they got enough value out of the double duelist. Patman, by the way, welcome to VCT Pacific. He had an insane round holding the A site, and I think he did perfectly fine on the fade. And once again, Forsaken just continues to be the best player in PRX, no matter what bloody Asian or role you put him on.
I am really curious, speaking of Patman here, because we saw this happen with some of the other rookies that joined Pacific this year. A lot of the coaches have said, like Talon, for example, Killua was really nervous the first map. This is Pat's first time on Pacific, first time out of the country. So this must be a massive first map for him. This could be a bit of a hopium or copium, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that this is a trend for a lot of the teams. So good performance nonetheless.
I mean, it's a very different environment, right? So it does require different things. He's quite lucky in the sense that he has such experienced players down there with him who should be able to guide him through, settle him down into map 2. But his performance was good. I thought Patman was solid, but I felt like just as a team, they were not on the same level as Boom. I feel like Boom were like, it's a liquid, it's flowing, they're one unit.
Yeah.
PRX, I didn't quite get that vibe.
They legitimately, at times, I felt like I was watching like a structured EU team. Like I was watching a team that plays on the world-class level, and they were punishing mistakes. They were making really good mid-round calls. They had this crazy opping presence. Like I thought I was watching a really structured, really strong team, which I used to a lot of holes in the gameplay for Boom, but they are legitimately playing their way into maybe being like a really top-tier team in Pacific right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think at this point, when we were talking about, okay, Boom's here, this is really exciting. Now at this point, it's like, Boom could be in the finals.
Yeah, I was copium in the pre-show before. I was like, they only played Gen G. They just changed players. Their last game, that map actually did kind of convince me a little bit.
A lot of things have changed with that. Now Ascent's going to be the next map, and this is Boom's pick. PRX, the last time we saw them play Ascent was, I believe, in the off-season, where we saw them play the meta, the old Ascent meta for the very first time, and completely dominated and shocked everyone. Maybe disappointed.
PRX 2 kali nge-ban Ascent,
you were good with this meta the whole time.
I think it was off-season experimentation, and they were really playing around with the roles, because PRX for quite a long time has just been a little bit lost in terms of what they're doing. It's a map that historically they have not really played. They have been panning it. They've let it through in the Veto and chosen to pan Haven instead. When Boom have had a really good opening game on Ascent against Gen G, you can see it right there. They once again will have to start attack. Was not a problem for them against Gen G, although to be fair, they did kind of bully suggest that game.
Yeah.
And I'm not, if Forsaken's on the Senti this time, I don't think you're going to be taking advantage of him this series.
The thing I worry about for Boom with this map too is that their Ascent isn't as flexible as something like the default comp is, right? When you swap out Phoenix for, you take Jet out, put Phoenix in, you have a lot less options. So I'm a little bit worried that it could be readable. So PRX, this should be a kind of anti-stratable map, but we've seen PRX ban Ascent the last 2 weeks. So it clearly isn't a map that they love. I think they've left it in for a reason, so I think they'll have some kind of read, some kind of anti, but it's how good that is and how much Boom have been able to change since we saw it in week 1.
That does sum it up pretty nicely. We are in week 3 of stage 1, and we still don't know how this is gonna go. It's just, we haven't seen enough yet, but we're gonna find out a lot of answers today and how PRX does on a map like Ascent. Personally, I'm not sad to see the Haven go, especially with Patman coming in. Mindfreak is not playing the Haven, and it looks like there was a lot they need to rework on it anyway. So with Ascent, I don't know if it's gonna be too crazy from PRX. They've been doing a lot of crazy things, but
I mean, I would like them to still keep it kind of crazy. At the same time, though, we'll see what we're going to get. Like we've said, it's not a map that they're super comfortable with. They are going to get to start defense first. I mean, that's always a bit of a comfort zone for Ascent. At the end of the day, let's see what we're going to get agent comp-wise, especially from PRX. I don't think Boom have any reason to really change up what they were doing. It worked great against Gen G. So for PRX, especially the roles, we've got to take a little bit of a look here. Jing back on the controller there. You're going to get Forsaken on the Fade. There's a lot of choices in terms of init, and they've chosen Fade KO with something back on Jet, and Devi's going to be on Senti. So they are just all over the place with roles right now. Let's see how it's going to work for them.
So we see Boom sticking with that same comp, and I think if we talk about the Fade, I think the Fade is very strong in the mains. You can prowl, you have a lot more util in a sense to clear that kind of enclosed space with your prowlers. So I think they're going to try and take it to the Phoenix, who's trying to dominate those mains to control the orbs. This kind of seems like a deliberate anti-pick of a comp.
Well, whoever it is you're cheering for today, I'm pretty sure all of us want a full series because we want to see more PRX versus Boom. We're going to send it back to our casters Komodo and Quack.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those where we want to see a lot more from PRX, not just in terms of the maps being played either, but it's just the fact that you lose this, and this severely hurts your chances at making it to playoffs.
Yeah, you'd be 0-3. If you lose this one in this map as well, you're losing your first series in a 0-2 fashion, and as Boom, you're winning your third series in a 2-0 fashion. I mean, I don't think those words were going to be ever uttered in my mouth in Pacific. Boom, 3-2-0 games. Ridiculous. But for PRX here, Quack, we do technically have something new to come out for them. It's back to the old, we're not playing meta Ascent comp, but it's also Devi, I believe, making his first appearance on the Vice.
Yeah, we'll see how that works for him at least. His Astra on Pearl wasn't too shabby.
Let's go.
But ultimately, overall,
We're back.
Team needing to find so much more. And Boom's Phoenix comp working wonders against Gen G just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, this looks like it might be a bit of a quicker one over towards the ace.
Nice.
Zerk's down on the lurk with the mid creep up from PRX. So you wait out these thorns and then you just call it go time.
Thorn setup does buy time, allows
Nice.
for something to find that pinch in through the smokes. Though, ooh, Petman, a little bit of a tricky spot, but at least his teammates are right around the corner to bail him out. Famous, trying to stay alive, trying to do as much damage as possible. Holds out the curveball, and that's where something pounces. Able to pick up the pistol for PRX.
All right, well, we're here big time talking about the Prowlers out through the lanes, but let's just forget about that, and let's just take some good old-fashioned gunfights together as a team, creeping up mid, and then back over towards the site where the team tries to go out a little bit earlier than the dark cover provides the vision blocking, and, well, you're just hitting your shots as PRX. Nicely done.
And that's the PRX that we
Wih,
would
gelo,
want to
semangat
see.
banget tuh.
However, maybe not wanting to let them get it too much into their heads that they can just gun their way out of every situation. That at least appeared to be what they were trying to do back on Pearl. But right now, at least, a bit of an information play in towards this B main area. Smoked off, sheer wall tripped. And boom, happy to hover around.
Yeah, we'll see how much damage something is going to be able to find in this one.
Ya, nyangkut.
His teammates with him as well.
Nyangkut dia, bro.
Oh, so far, Mr. Quack.
Anjing.
So good. No plant able either.
Yeah, a little bit of a duck hunt, especially the Marshall in play, but still Famous able to fire back with that classic. Some damage being done to
Marshall,
PRX's
vamos.
economy. Forsaken in with the ghost again, though. He had a quad from before. Can he find another one in this round?
Tret.
It's gonna be Patman, who does quite a bit of damage to Famous, but oh, he answers back still.
He has to use the runner back here. If he,
Oh, satu hit
if
Marshall
he
mati,
uses his
Cok.
chances, right? You'd get his hate
83 tambah
feedback.
15.
Has to get into a good enough position to pop it off.
101, pas, satu peluru badan. Satu peluru badan mati.
Boathouse is great.
101,
5 seconds to play
Marshall.
Might be wondering where the spike is as well.
You'll know where the spike is, but the problem is the weapon.
He's holding on to that running back. He's just
on
gonna
the
go
right
for
line.
it.
Yeah. Oh, wrong timing though.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
I respect it. Not gonna lie, right? You got a runner back available for your bonus rounds. Just can't help but wonder, right? Imagine a world in which he does technically use it to either take a first shot out with the Marshall, and he collects with the shot. He then loses it in the trade, and then he's, you know, pistol pull out. He's able to then potentially win it. You know, individual confidence. I mean, you've got the 1 versus 3 where a lot of players might overheat and go quickly for the kill, but
2024 Famous might have done that.
Settles himself. Oh, exactly right. Yeah.
It is 2025.
Something operator in the 3rd round for this bonus makes it not look like
Ini
a
udah OP aja
bonus
nih.
and an opening kill.
Set.
Well, he's still spotted out NC Slasher. Shiro down first though.
Support from Forsaken as well. They do have that sheer all up by B main, so that looks to be PRX's entire game plan. Push out on opposite lanes, have the Vice utility to block off the remaining ones. Off that instant pick, it's gonna be Prowler to confirm information right now.
I love this adjustment of the sheer up through.
Nice.
Way.
Dijing pakai omen, Cok, bersadar anjay.
We saw in the game against Genji how Boom wanted to just get up towards these choke points and kind of explode, right? That single
iya deh.
sheer kind of negates your ability to do that in the surprising fashion.
Kira
Big time
PRX main
mentions
tiga
that,
ini anjir.
You know, this was PRX's sort of a permaban.
Tiga initiator.
Yeah.
Intentionally leaving it open.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you're going to leave this map open, you're going to expect Boom to pick it, which means that you
Probably
would
have something
expect
prepared.
a lot of antis prepared and a lot of strats that are going to exploit Boom's current agent lineup.
And I do believe that is what we are witnessing. 30 seconds left on the clock for Boom to
Udah nggak sih?
save every single
Udah nggak, guys?
Taking a look at the positions
Di
as
tweet
well.
soalnya itu sama 720 anjir.
Going on.
720 kan? Ini 720 anjir.
It's as well.
Yep. And I mean, this is a bonus round, remember? It ain't looking like the bonus for PRX. 1 Guardian, and the rest, you know, they're going to be able to have an operator taking over. Vandals and stuff, they'll build up their economies, so PRX have put themselves in a really good position here on the back of this bonus.
So incredibly well played and well prepared by PRX. We'll see if they continue to bring that consistency to the rest of the rounds.
Yeah, big emphasis on mid control at the moment from PRX, right? If they are feeling sharper at the moment and they want to individually take the duels, certainly can't falter them if they are going to be winning them.
That they are doing it, you know, as a team.
Together,
If you've got something peeking down catwalk, you got Forsaken coming out from bot mid.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, Losing this round might call for a timeout from Boom, but looking to pull out some answers of their own. DOS9 back on the Sheriff, but something with a peek out.
Yeah, that's really aggressive and really nice as well, because you've dispatched of DOS9. How difficult does Ascent become when you don't have smokes available? You've used your Blaze, but you're now caught up in mid by the Sheer.
Nice, Jason.
Able to do absolutely anything there as Famous. This round is now very disconnected for Boom, and that's Berserks, one of the clutch kings of Pacific now.
Had a really good game last week,
Phantom
but
moment,
right now,
140.
PRX answering with force. You got 2 players staring down his barrel, so that's going to be a tough situation to fight out of.
If he won that, that would have turned this round absolutely upside down.
I still want to hold my breath, though. PRX, we've seen them kind of
Something's on the
blunder
correct
before, you know. At least, yeah, something is able to watch the right line. But look at this little jiggle coming out from Shiro. Something fires back, re-peaks, updrafts away.
Sabar, tunggu teman.
Special delivery at something's feet, but who's on the other side of that clock burst?
Nice, threat.
Narrow focused on trying to find the kill on towards something where you've got the trade potential to come on out. Always going to respect the idea in that one, but the 4-0 start from PRX now. We need to see a little bit more early gameplay.
Lagi ko nih, W lah.
Go their way. We've seen a lot of aggression.
Pas Iko ini W nih, pas nih.
You know, kind of disrespectful aggression as well, right? They're setting themselves up nicely with Patman assisting with the KO utility, with Forsaken as well, playing his own duels on these lines. And if he needs to, he can Prowler, he can Haunt.
That's timeout.
Timeout from Boom here. Actually getting contested a lot more in this map than the likes of what Gen G was giving them.
Gotta love that comms are flowing for PRX as well. I mean, something continues to find picks like these.
21 perfect atau Boom nih? Aku still PRX.
Buzz, texture, and famous for, you know, top op kills.
I mean, you got to think as well, if something is going to continue to get on these aggressive lines, right, what adjustments does Boom do to try and get advantage in those lanes? Well, yeah, you can play on the back of some flashes, you can try and drone them out, you've got 2 drones available on these initiators, you can try and
Final PRX Boom.
out with the salvos. There's options, don't get me wrong, but that's not all that we're seeing.
Enggak, sayang ini dia sistemnya poin, bukan final gitu.
The operator go in from something, find the kill, and the round's done, right? Everybody on PRX is still maneuvering around the map nicely, putting the right utility down at the moment, adjusting their setups around the map as well. A different look towards how this A site now is going to be defended by Devi.
Meanwhile, PRX still looking to possibly abuse this mid control. Alt's starting to cycle now.
Well, you know that Shiro's top mid with that dart.
It's somewhat smoked off, and something's going to play happily around that dark cover.
Is this expected though? Quack, that's the problem. A jump spot. You don't know that Forsaken's tucked in either.
All right. But Boom, you know, having felt that much presence and danger from mid before, they're not going to challenge that currently.
Forsaken has found
4 second, let's go 4 second.
8
nih 4 second, maju nggak sih? 4 nih.
Nah. I know it's a bit of a savvy eco, but this could be huge for padding stats.
Does DOS9 turn around? Not quite.
Udah, Phantom moment.
DOS dead first again.
Dink sees Prowler, Forsaken looking to parkour his way in towards a
multi-kill.
It's going to be a double at least.
Per
Maybe a
Phantom,
bit of a
cok.
weapon handed over onto Boom, but Famous now
Flash.
looking to create more pressure onto the site.
Nice.
Blaze wall, the flashes, but something answers. Shorty in hand, repositions to a closer angle. Meanwhile, across the map, Berserks.
Yeah, Berserks has lurked. If this was, you know, a more impactful round where you could potentially find the winning timing, yeah, amazing. You can't really do anything now that you've been spotted out by Patman, except dispatch of him, but you could not find any space for NC Slasher here.
Fair enough, just to build more points towards that ult.
Nice.
Locking down these angles and sight lines, finding their 5th in this scoreline.
Yeah, and on the back of the timeout, not converting either for Boom, but you would assume it was more of a conversation for this round, the next gun round, and how you want to try and pivot and find an advantage, because really at the moment it's Boom, right? We're not seeing them be able to get into these advantage positions. They're losing in these opening fights, they're losing space around the map.
Meanwhile, this is the PRX that everyone has been wanting
Ada
to see.
ulti Fate, ada ulti Jason.
Now in with the ultimates, looking to possibly just explode. Not even the quiet creep up.
Yeah, but look who's on the line. It's something.
Woi,
He's already found one kill.
alah, nyangkut pula
I
desnya.
will admit, but some rotations and some settling down.
Yes.
Devi is at the B site.
Swatted down, Divide to anchor. Forsaken to check as well. The 0 point will call it clear. Well, that was an across the map.
Nice, Batman.
Who holds down the line up around tree. So Cat is being blocked off now. Does Boom come back in to challenge?
Big duel for the newcomer to PRX to win there, and he wants more.
Gelo.
Tops in, Jing with the additional support. That is
Anjay.
coming out from PRX. Well called. The spike down on the ground. DOS9 to try to do some damage, but Jing not letting him through.
Yeah, it's like we were seeing from Jing when he brought out the Brimstone, right? Sometimes if you've got no smokes available, just have your gun up and get ready in all your experience and timing and where you think in that certain position DOS9 might be coming out from. They don't necessarily need to complicate things. I like the mid-round call from, well, maybe I would expect Batman to bring his teammate with him to re-aggress up through catwalk, because we're not seeing initiative from Boom in that situation, right? They have players down, they're still creeping up. It's a really good grasp on this defensive side.
Ulti KO.
Quack, every single round they're changing up how they're playing the early round of these defenses as well, and it hurts Boom because they're not investing these drones really early on, or they're forced to invest all this early utility, and PRX are going to be extremely happy if that happens. They don't have to contend with it for the eventual site hit.
You do kind of want to watch for PRX if they begin to overcook a little bit, though. They did leave open, but happy to refill back in.
Nice.
Hold off mid in case anyone crosses.
Nice. Gitu lah, bro.
Double found. Continuing to hold.
Ay, aduh, nge-whiff cok Jason.
To re-peek back into its B main confirms Boom's positioning. Smoked off once again. Fragment at his feet. Shot through the smoke.
And now NC slash up.
Trying to play and stay alive close to the spike. Flashed and flushed over to the other position. Now slicing the angle. Patman finds him. The straight bullet catching his helmet. It's going to be PRX with 7 straight rounds in a row.
Yeah, this is the winningest that we've seen from PRX so far, I will admit. They've really got a great idea, and again,
Boom Esport kalau famous nggak nyala sulit, guys.
Dancing around on this duelist wasn't, you know, really able to do it too much.
Famousnya first mati pertama terus.
The early stages especially, but here he's got the operator in his hand, and we're not seeing a way in which that Boom are trying to off-put that. He's just getting really hungry for these duels. What was I saying?
Ultinya aja nggak kepake-pake dari anjir. Ulti famous.
I'm waiting to see Patman on this KO, because when I watch him, I think that it's his best agent in his position and all of his assistants. And while, you know, he doesn't have too many assists here, it's 4, the timing and the impact that he's finding for this team at the moment, really well done.
Reading the positions as well. I mean, he has been playing these initiators throughout his entire career now.
Tengok, sekalian yang ulti siapa malah langsung mati anjir.
Blocks off the lanes. Nightfall being sent as well from Forsaken, but still Boom looking to push and punish their way through. Not quite happening. Divide watching the flank this time. Okay, but Famous able to answer. That's a Phantom picked up. Spike down as well. A possible round for Boom in our midst.
Oh, spotted. Needs assistance though. He's the only one here.
Jing is alone as well. Something to hold the angles, but ooh! Shoulder spotted. Not quite the angle to hold. It's all down to Jing as he spins around on a swivel looking for the frags, but DOS9 able to snuff out that light.
Yeah, finally Boom are going to get on the board. A little bit of awkward timing from Famous when he rips out that run it back, and he gets instantly shut down from Patman, who in amongst the Hunt's Fury coming his way tried to survive by dropping the null command into it and just wasn't able to. Wrong timing before it became activated. I like the crunch idea from PRX as well. Just a couple of these angles though finally going Boom's way. I did get nervous though at the end there. This 1 versus 3, Jing had 3 individual 1v1s he could have isolated, but just not able to do it there. So the light for Boom is that they're on the board, and DOS9, you are lucky that you were able to escape that one, because something was ready to take that fight.
Very close to it. And now with that, he's able to lock down this info line across A main. Meanwhile, Boom looking to continue with their assault in towards short. Blocked off by Patman with that fragment.
He's just being such a deterrent though here, isn't he?
Still though, both teams looking to push on every lane. Now back in towards mid. The sheer wall tripped.
Dah mulai nih, momentum nih, Boom nih.
Making noise, making his presence known.
He tried to get some information spotting on top of it if anyone was close towards mid.
Does have to be careful though, because if Boom susses out that he is alone, they might be able to find that opportunity into the B side. Instead, Boom looking to collapse in towards A.
And you have to know that A main is dirty territory. You have to know that something has been
masuk
pushing
aneh,
you, every so often. You've got to watch for it, and they kind of do with Famous taking that position, but he loses his life. So 4-4, now looking for the post plant.
At least numbers found.
Divide as well here, Quack. One away
4 lawan
from Steel
4.
Garden.
Boom just looking to keep themselves dug deep into the site. Something still back into the sight lines. Boom cannot give up their current positions. Meanwhile, the rest of the PRX B squad, they have...
Nice, Davai.
Davai finds the first, but Berserk's answers back. Now,
Nice, Jason.
Forsaken
Aduh,
will be able
wave.
to find a collapsing shot.
Nice.
Berserk's to answer back.
Nice,
Well,
Jing.
in with the shorty. It's gonna
Good,
be
good.
Jing who finds the double to clean up the round for PRX.
OP,
All
OP.
of the trades coming through in favor of PRX as well. You know, I see Divide get the kill, but he was immediately traded out by Berserks. And the name of the game there is the fact that Famous loses his life towards something, and you've always got it in the front of your mind that something can just peek out through main and just completely win out this round from there. So a bit unfortunate for Boom, but I think more importantly, just very aware for the likes of PRX that the initiative is, we'll get these kills, we'll distract them around the site. We have, you know, an option for something to peek out through.
Tuh Aaron tuh, Aaron.
And that's a bit of a rare sight these days. Alex celebrating in the coach's room.
He's got someone he can high five now.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Camaraderie.
But hey, Boom looking to answer back as well. They found some rounds off the back of thrifties or half buys, but with the rounds that PRX has had so far, something just reinvest into another op.
In amongst the site, in front of the sheer by yourself.
Looking to explode again. Where has Jing teleported to though? Not quite.
Aduh,
And that's
wave
the
Jing.
off-angle exploited. Berserk's to answer back. And now something trying to find something close range with the shorty. Meanwhile, the rest of the team looking to waterfall off. It's the Odin spam.
Nice, Odin.
Forsaken.
Nice.
Patman
Hell.
DOS 9 now to hold inside of Hell. Can he drag them down with him? The spike not planted. And he's pretty much pinned down. Something looking for the shorty kill. And DOS 9
mulai.
goes in.
Wow.
Close range up shot.
Quick scope to come out from something to close that one. I saw a world in which DOS9 finds that kill, gets from the shadows, and is maybe able to get out to get himself some time. But the spike would have been a very untenable situation. Unfortunate, but in the beginning as well, right? Famous getting in front of that sheer. The rest of his team is not able to get in to help him at that point in time, unfortunately. He has to try and cook for himself around there where he does find that first kill, but again, it's just...
Gelo. No scope nggak tuh? Di no scope.
It's really the trade game at the moment that's coming
Pecah
out.
telur kah udah tadi
They're
pecah
ahead
telur.
of it. They're going in quick. They're going in slow. They're really keeping Boom guessing with every single round being different to the positions and the first looks.
This is a PRX that is flowing, you know, double keying. They're finding info lines. They're happy to retake. They're happy to go for these fights.
They're in the flow state.
Boom looking to explode right back though. They've had a bit of success into the A site, now looking to create some of it on towards B, especially with this run it back, but now slowed down by that C's. Forsaken alongside Petman. Both initiators around the site. Odin spam through as well, but nothing found just yet.
Steel Garden can actually be pretty impactful for Divide here.
He is in position, and he pops it off. Spike still down though, and with that Steel Garden in play, the primary's jammed up. PRX looking to push through. However, Boathouse not quite affected by it. Shiro will be able to hold it off. Still though. Now Patman trying to push in. Spotted out by Berserks. PRX's numbers starting to fall down now, and it's just something left. Looks to try to save that up, and does manage to get away, and that will be another round for Boom picked up.
He's going to skedaddle on out of there to save that gun because the money is still a bit of a fickle thing for PRX here. But for Boom, that's another round on the board on this attacking side. Some nice repositioning from Famous as well, who once
Valorant ada drops nggak? Kayaknya ada deh.
find anything with the run it back. He didn't immediately die.
Nggak ada deh. Kalau masih kualifikasi gini kayaknya nggak ada deh. Pas Toronto-nya mungkin ada.
Was shutting the market door where one of his teammates was seen and tickled down a little bit, right? Grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter because Boom managed to get on the board. The best thing that they can hope for at the tail end of this half, I mean, it's going to be the 9-3, right?
And that's definitely what PRX has for them at least, but still we'll see if Boom will indeed turn this into a 3. Shiro with the Odin now. And PRX for the first time in a long while, not quite pushing out aggressively.
Yeah. We have Devi with the Stinger, of course, an operator to be heard for something who can challenge around this site. The flash gonna work a treat for Famers.
Goes in for the swing. Something, bit of a whiff as well. Now spots out Famous, but look at the movements!
Ooh.
Oh,
Just sachets himself into the site. PRX, the rest of them looking to arrive on the scene. Patman alongside Forsaken, trying to span their way through. The Hunt sent out as well. No, it's a seize. So the Tethers reveal positions. And
Nice, Patman. Gila, Patman sakit banget guys.
I am Patman.
just sent in on the end there to clean up the crew of Boom, and it's done nicely. A very quick retake to come on through, not enabling Boom to establish any seniority in the round, any stability at all. That horn, absolutely immaculate to come on through from Forsaken, and then I mean, it's not understated to say that Patman just coming up very, very crispy looking on this map.
He's got his patarangs.
He's what?
I'll let myself out.
Batman. Yep. Okay.
There we go.
No. Doors that way.
Thank you.
2 to 10 makes it very difficult for Boom here if they're not able to pick up the pistol round to start off the affairs, which, to be fair, they've been pretty successful in pistols so far.
That is...
They've lost the first one on this map, they lost the first one on the first map as well. They got the second, and a couple of the previous series, they're pretty proficient as well.
At least looking to make this a quick map so far. We still have a third one left and unanswered.
Yeah, fracture if we get there.
Don't want to get too ahead of myself though, at least.
Yeah, question mark for me, not gonna lie. I mean, that's the one where Boom had the choice of Lotus instead. Of course, we'll get to hear a little bit more from the desk if we do get there in terms of the third map, because we are still in the second. We've still got space to see if Boom are going to be able to kind of bring some stuff back for us.
But at least so far, this series has been absolutely delivering on both ends as well. Boom from the first map of Pearl, we're looking to disrupt PRX's attacks. This time, PRX disrupting Boom's attacks. We'll see how it all fares out on towards PRX's attack.
2-10 nggak mungkin kalah nggak sih 2-10 ya kan? 3 lagi doang.
On up to the choke points and then explode on out, right?
Watch out for at least now Shiro, happy to collect on some information. Reinforcements have arrived, but everything has been smoked off as well. Look at something dive straight in towards Famous. The dive bomb exploding away happily. Shiro in with the shock dart as well.
Nice. Whoa, we're back. Something swing.
Yeah. Looks for the quad, but shut down right now.
Spike planted.
The spike will happily go down as well. Not much in terms of utility for Boom, just the paranoia as well as a dark cover. Market being blocked up as well. Not much can be done. NC Slasher for a bit of a trade. That should pretty much be it. DOS9 still trying to find as much as he can though, but Devi will happily tap away.
Both pistols going to PRX. Angry something to start off as well. You know, the old classic if you want to take some market control. When KO was, you know, kind of first introduced, we did see it a good idea to get some blades, or you try to flashes and some mollies in towards market and send your teammate in, change things up as well. Nice self-sufficient play to come out from something to just dash himself into his own smoke and go for the challenges. You know, you're kind of looking towards PRX to really just catch Boom off guard here. In that round, you're going to force Boom up. They need a leg to stand on. Got to go toe-to-toe somehow. Try to upgrade some weapons, get absolutely overrun on this A site.
Especially with all that utility. Needing to respect the
Nah, ini baru real duelist, nge-clear semua side, bro.
Just to allow them to shut down that
semua angle.
Spaces. Oh, look at that, still spamming through.
Something for the opener once more.
Looking like shades of his old self. Still back in the site. Knowing that the door is broken, they're looking to re-peek back into it. Look at
Wait,
that.
wait, wait.
Famous, okay.
Aha, mulai
Strays
nge-troll.
that stinger shot. Now Shiro
nge-troll.
answering back as well. Now just down to Jing. Tries to reposition into the smoke, but is that going to be enough? The stinger sprays not quite favoring him. Favoring Famous.
Push terus.
Okay, well, not going to see map point for PRX at the moment. That stinger, I mean, something about the stingers doing things that they shouldn't. TLN bullet able to find the double there for him, but hey, we're going to see Boom at least hold on and stave off that map point. Most importantly, I think the questions are really going to be, you know, the depth at which they're going to be able to potentially gather consecutive rounds, right? 7 in a row from
Famous tengok 16 sendiri.
You cannot forget the dominance in the scoreline like that.
Famous ini lama-lama dilirik orang luar nih, saya nih.
I do believe there was, you know, a 10
Wah, ini dia pasti tawaran dari ini luar.
Yeah, if you went to bed at the 10-0 mark, yeah, and then you come back and they lost that, yeah.
So not impossible for Boom.
I was one of those that went to bed at the 10-0 mark.
I mean, how could you not? But still, you know, we are in Pacific after all time zones. You know, it is what it is. But Boom happy to find as much as possible. Holding B main down back into its catwalk as well. The drone coming out.
Mereka ini suka banget buang-buang momentum anjir.
So just Famous to
Turunnya 12-3. Buang-buang round.
He flashes and he's looking for kills because Berserks is right up around the back. He's got the blazes to heal himself off as well.
They played anti for that flash. They expected it, but trades available for Boom. And now Jing. Damage. Just some cheeky damage here. Not going to be able to find it. Famous will have the run it back going in towards the next round, where we're going to get a look onto PRX's attacking side when they've got the weaponry, they've got the Blade Storm available. If something, you know, just wants to kind of jive in quickly, cut them down to size.
And this is where, you know, if you are PRX, you need to recognize what Boom can possibly pull off.
Yeah, I think
recognize the trade protocols.
I think momentum-wise, right now though, for PRX is they're really feeling how they're playing this map and what Boom's weaknesses are currently. The slower pace game that they had on that attacking side, but they are pulling out a play of PRX's, going for the early control. They don't have an operator, but they've got assistance to gain some win control over an A. Send the rest of the team to look back at the deeper sides of spawn and B.
And that does keep, you know, a single player from PRX invested in towards this possible A main position. So might hurt the numbers across the other portions of the map.
Yeah, those salvos as well give you the idea that Boom weren't 100% confident if PRX had gotten deep enough or not.
Been 30 seconds and Boom has spent quite a bit just to find information all across the map. Nothing found towards B, and now finding a little bit more towards A, and PRX continue to rotate everywhere. Back possibly in towards Market. Berserks is holding the angle though, finds the first, and continues to burst his way through. Down to 9 HP, hit by the Paranoia now. But Jing looks towards the back. Oh, that has possibly
Nge-troll juga satu run lagi.
right now, and that's just a Vi left.
Dongo.
Might be able to get his way into the site, but you're 1 against 5, buddy.
But let me tell you the story, Quack. When PRX were looking for map point against Boom, and Devi got the plant and was caught with his knife out, and Shiro took him down.
Flawless.
The end. The end. No, not the end here. Boom, though, a flawless round to find against PRX's first gun round here, where Famous commands a lot of space over at A. I'm thinking that there is a heavy investment of utility, as you were talking about, right? Salvos deep mid, shock darts used early in towards tree, a dark cover, a blaze as well, really trying to navigate them down in through towards mid, where there is a bit of a crossfire here, right? Berserk's an NC Slasher, very aware, dodging a lot of the utility as well. The fact that the flash comes a little bit late from Patman and the Paranoia doesn't take NC Slasher there. You know, a couple of differences, right, that could have completely turned the round on its head. But for Boom, those are the sort of things we need to be seeing.
Doing just that. Looking to repeat a lot of it as well. Famous still sitting on that run it back. PRX this time on a bit of a half buy. Something does have the blades though.
Shearwall's going to keep some respect over at B main as well for them, so they don't have to really worry about that. I wouldn't mind the idea if Boom want to get a little bit proactive to try and contest into it, but you've got Devi looking after it. It is the lesson-equipped round from PRX too, right? But Famous is pushed very far up.
Something that is completely unexpected for PRX, and Famous goes on a tear.
Okay.
Flashes back in just to check even more as well. The spike has been picked up.
Now he can settle.
And he's just happy to sit onto it.
5 versus 2. These are the sort of rounds for Boom that you just need confidence to win it cleanly from here. You don't want to see anyone overheat.
Haven't quite done too much of that, especially not from the previous map either. Boom looking to be a very controlled version of themselves. Something though, Blades will whiz right by.
Yep. Standing ahead. Now the dart has to be dodged from Devi, who is once again in a 1 versus 5.
30 seconds left.
What's the story this time?
Oh, he gets one. I didn't see that.
He's gonna find more kills, right?
Nah, probably not.
Straying back in, looking for more sprays. He does.
No way! Oh, bro, I'm talking. It's
Stinger
looking to be
dapat
a flawless
3.
round from Boom. The turret that spots out a player in B main, where something cloud bursted off. You've got an immediate special delivery from NC Slasher. I'm trying to give credit to all of these quick utilities to come out after Famous starts off the round, and then you're running into Devi with a yeehaw old classic boy, and he just comes out with that. He's on 4 HP, and he gets him out with the stick. Like, man.
A yeehaw classic boy.
Yeehaw classic boy. Hey, our Ascension teams will get their classic soon, all
Ya,
right?
aturan 12-3. Roll by
So
rondo.
we gotta keep our eyes open for that Boom bundle. But yeah, you know, still around for Boom nonetheless. But I gotta love it when Komodo absolutely
these are the moments that if you're watching this game can infuriate you a little bit because they shouldn't happen.
Oh, I've already I was already infuriated by yesterday's Japanese games, but hey,
yeah,
we're back into it. PRX, you know, they lost off of a bit of a half buy against Boom in that previous map in the last round.
So less thrifty to end it. I mean,
now we're back into this where maybe starting to go off the flop side again. It's currently Boom with 4 straight rounds in a row.
It's not the 7 that PRX started off with, but with PRX getting the pistol and the fact that Boom forced up, they get the second round, they start to build a little bit of character on this defense side of their own. Yeah, maybe there is a world. Famous has the operator in play. He's got to run it back as well. He's currently on 22 kills. I mean, he's putting up numbers. DOS9, though, again, he's feeling a little bit absent today.
At least for now, just providing value with the utility for the team. He's a controller after all. Famous finding his off back in against PRX. That's a double!
Yep, needs to heal though, 30 HP. At least it is an operator, so he can go for another challenge where PRX want to go quickly now into this A side.
Okay, shrouded steps past the door. Forsaken B hops in, gets the door down.
You could use Famous on this run it back as a glorified drone.
That's exactly what he's looking to do alongside the rest of the team as well. But even as a sort of a drone, he finds a kill with a frenzy. Op shots fired back in. They know exactly where Jing is. And Jing looks to survive inside of hell. Smokes out, looks to peek through. Does find the first. Oh, but the sortie makes quick work of Jing, and Boom will be going on with another win. That's 5 in a row now.
Tried to have some options with the dark cover to dance around a little bit, didn't he? Here's the reload of the shorty. You're going to get the
Terlalu meremehkan lawan tuh.
DOS9 maybe just needed to hear me get mad at him, call him out. I don't know. Great start for Boom. Again, on this operator from Famous, it feels like he's got the magic touch at the moment when that gun is in his hand.
But I do want to question this, Komodo. Maybe if I can pose it to you.
Go for it.
PRX's attack looking a little bit lackadaisical. We saw that on Pearl. They continue to try to bully their way into the sites. They're trying to
masih kalah.
that again on towards Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, like,
go next.
we know
Just go next, bro.
Proficient on attack. Seen it on Fracture,
4
for
ulti masih
example.
kalah, go next.
We also know, like, a map like Lotus, for example, Boom are pretty good on attack too, right? So coming in towards Ascent right now, where they're also looking pretty hot for this comeback. They're putting up their defenses. NC Slasher starting us off for 2.
Op still continuing to sing as well. PRX. At some point, you gotta find other solutions.
How do you get Patman up? You molly.
You can't.
Oh, it goes a bit deep, and now it's done. 5 versus 3. 2-player advantage for Boom. An exit if they need 2 ultimates that they can invest here. A lockdown, an Armageddon, but at this point in time, Quack, there's a minute that you're going to let PRX just simmer in the fact that
Save
this
pula.
round
Save lah bulldog.
might be unachievable. It might be the 6th round in a row for Boom.
I feel like it would be.
Yeah.
PRX looking to save right now.
Now you can
Definitely
just
needing the time to simmer and to discuss things over.
shift into podcast mode for a minute, you know. The fact is, though, in these sort of situations for PRX, as long
Tak
as
iya
they're
comeback.
protecting their
Comeback nih,
guns,
Cok.
they can use this as a bit of a talk time for the team, right? And most importantly, how are they going to
Kesel
get
aku
this
anjing.
next
Sumpah
round?
kesel kali, Cok.
Device got its steel garden. You could pop that for a bit of an explosion for something to get in towards the site and maybe gain a bit of an advantage duel.
Possibly for the next round, and that's going to be this round's episode of Rex Chat. Welcome.
Oh, we missed it. DRX, PRX, our first one. That's when that would have come out.
Still though,
Ikutin
definitely
ego.
needing to find
Ego
some
aim
answer
anjing.
to possibly the early round aggression coming out from Boom or the op in the hands of Famous. Currently sitting on top of 25 kills. I mean, he was putting up huge numbers in that first half, even though Boom was still, you know, shaking a little bit on their attack.
Certainly having a map for him, that's for sure. You know, we get a lot of these teams in our region that sometimes you've got players that are very consistent in the mid-range. You've got players that just have these absolutely brilliant maps. You know, Famous is having one of those ones
Tembak-tembak juga,
at the
Cok.
moment.
This time positioned in a safer position off of the timeout. Possibly anticipating some kind of a burst coming out from PRX. PRX, though, slowing things down a little bit.
I think on the duelist role at the moment. Famous trying to do his best Yudotan impression, leading by example. Different agents and such, but they did go against each other previously, remember, and Yudotan dropped 28 kills, so see if Famous is going to be able to put up those numbers.
At least currently still on the A site, so PRX trying to cut noise. Looking for that explosion into the B site. Oh, it's going to be an Odin.
Yeah, it's not going to reach its mark, though.
Especially with the map changes currently, but
There you
the
go.
Armageddon will hit its mark.
Really nicely done. Steel Garden is going to essentially be countered by the Armageddon. You've got the lockdown if you need. Time to be bought by those salvos. This sheer, I mean, yeah, Devi has it later for the flank, of course, but 40 seconds, a lot of this input utility is gone, but Patman finds NC Slasher out in the open.
With a Spectre. Shiro, though, digs himself deep, tries to spray through with the Odin, not quite finding its mark. It's going to be Berserks now off to the other end. But still,
Troll lagi. Pick nggak sih? Pick lagi, Cok. Pick semua. Pick. Pick.
Do you want to go for this? There is a Vandal on the floor.
Yeah, possibly going to pick that up. Support from DOS9 as well, who has been good on the clutch.
Ada yang berani nge-pick doh. Tadi nge-pick.
At least to create a little bit more space. Will they make their way through to the lanes or from stairs? Split pushes for sure. That's something happy to trade. Off to the other end as well. That's going to be Jing to clean up. PRX finally.
Dari tadi kalian main kayak gitu, ada menang nih dah, Cok.
Well, that's what they were waiting for, right? The 6 rounds in a
Buang-buang
row
Ron,
that we did see
anjing.
from Boom. This time, they hold off all that early utility. They can't get in towards it when they invest the Steel Garden, but that lockdown just not able to be protected by Berserks. You highlighted that Famous was on the other side of the map. They had to run a marathon to get towards this B site, and it was a little bit too late. And this is credit towards the space that PRX gave themselves in the first half, right?
All they need is just one more round, but still 4 chances for Boom to try to really push this all the way through to overtime. Well, I mean, 0 chances actually, but still. Okay. DOS9 digs himself deep into Wine and sees Slasher with the up this time. Will be able to block off Catwalk.
Yeah, would you expect that one? Shiro, though, onto Forsaken as well. Jing
Okay.
able to at least establish one, but no trades. So Boom will hold player advantage ×2. And they just have to make sure that they don't drop this one from here. Good crossfire in through mid on the back of the alarm bot.
Discipline and positions still. Pop flashed over.
Nice,
Shiro
Batman.
peeks.
Nice.
And Divide
Good job,
and
man.
Patman happy to take this
Tutup
B
pintu, jangan
site.
lupa.
Spike down now.
Two
Soon enough.
very nicely calculated 2v1 duels there, by the way.
NC Slasher could possibly swap the weapon over onto a rifle if they aren't to go for this retake.
Nice. Nah, Ulon OP kali kalah nggak sih?
Pushing further on through as well.
Ini ada wall nih ketahuan. Nah, ketahuan.
Kids where it's coming from, you're just going to play protected. The back of the site, because time is your friend now as PRX.
Fragment 2. So Salvo's block off stairs, special delivery, and he's looking to find a bit more space, maybe looking to pick them off. PRX cannot make a single mistake. Divide with the peek out though.
Can't miss a shot here, Quack.
Now on a one-on-one, Petman holding, listening for the drop. The op still a very lethal threat. Hops on over with the shorty, and Petman
Nice.
more space in between him and his opponent just to bring the scoreline.
Senang kalian. Dari tadi nge-troll kalian, senang-senang pula kalian. Gibal.
Karena bisa bekerja sambil belajar. Jadikan Melbourne sebagai pilihan tempat Anda untuk belajar.
Lari begitu.
They look pretty good on it against Gen G, but they weren't able to, kind of exploit any.
PRX malah fracture-nya kencang, Cok. Kan lawan T1 hampir menang kan? Menang kan sama T1?
I don't know if I would say exactly that, but I mean, the second half definitely did.
Tapi masalahnya kemarin menangnya line up pakai main freak, bro. Sekarang kayaknya nggak ada main freak. Gimana nih? Nggak tahu.
You gotta remember that they just did not give themselves enough room.
Ada main free kalah nih harusnya.
That is definitely true. Something that PRX can pull off when they are in that flow state, finding a lot of these opening picks, pushing together as a team, blocking off a lot of. Group. At the same time, we'll just toss it right over onto the desk to break this entire map down before we head over to our very beloved friend.
Ugh, this series is giving so much from Boom and PRX. PRX, who doubted their Ascent? Aren't they? They look like they're pretty good at
Makan yang
Ascent.
manis-manis
I
anjing.
think everyone. I thought Alex was supposed to be on fraud watch. I thought we needed a coach to come in and teach us how to play Ascent. I don't know. That defense game plan looked pretty good to me. At the same time, though, the Boom had already shown a lot of what they were going to do on attack versus Gen G last week, and it really felt. I mean, you talked about it comp-wise. As soon as we saw the comp stat, you felt like it was a little bit of like a counter strat or a soft read in terms of compositional choice. And I think definitely when I saw how it unfolded and the way they played, knowing how Boom likes to play their attack, they like to be very direct. They were bullying Suggest on Gen G last week. They were hitting the mains hard a lot of the time, or playing like map control into hard site execs. And PRX just did not let them do any of that. Something got on the op right from the bonus. Both the KO and the Fade were just getting in their face with basic util. They were always active and taking something and contesting Boom before they could really get off their execute.
Yeah, those are the three things for me that make me kind of feel like this is a deliberate sort of anti-strat. Number one, something in mid with the op all the time. Never gave them the mid space for free, which is exactly what you want to do against this Phoenix comp. Number two, they have the Fade to counter in the mains. And number three, they have the Vice, whose wall can't be destroyed by Sova or Teo util. So I feel like they had every answer, especially in that first half. Things sort of flipped on their head as we got in that second half. But, as Komodo kept saying, is I feel like the gap was just too big after that first half.
Can I just say, we know that Jet isn't really being used that much anymore. We saw her on the last map, and I am so glad to see something back on the Jet instead of Breach or, something else.
Yeah, I don't care what's meta. Just put them on comfort agents. Let them be comfortable. Let them play what they want to play. PRX has never been a conventional team and doesn't need to be. Famous, again, put on a bloody clinic, and I was a certified classic from something initially. Started to fall off a little bit towards the end, and in fact, that attack looked like they were running into some issues. Boom's defense was looking really, really good. I like the second round that they brought to us. They cut a corner, being very far behind, and then they started to come back into the game on the defense. But PRX, for me, really got that game done at the end of the day on their attack, on their defense, rather.
Yeah, for sure. As we say, it's all about their defense. But even then, Boom were making that comeback. That last round was a 4v2. 4v2 for Boom, and then you break your crossfires.
I was just,
everything falls apart.
As soon as I was praising them, they never lose these man-advantage situations. They're looking really clean today, and then we saw that round. I was like, oh dear.
I think that's a little bit of the nerves.
Yeah,
a little bit of the nerves creeping in, but they just have to settle it down. But I think something for me was the highlight of this defense. I mean,
absolutely.
seeing him back on Jet, it's old school. I mean, you're telling me this is your breach? This is you see him and go, yeah, I think this guy's great with a fault line.
Yeah, 3 words. Too many buttons. Stop with all the buttons. I mean, that was a pretty nice play. Got right in there. I love the updraft light armor, updraft dash light armor purchase on the pistol, just getting into market. It's not a play that you see very often on the pistol. And there you go, round 4, I think even round 3, right from the bonus, this guy got on the op, like straight away, no messing around. And that can be very risky because realistically, guys, you lose that bonus round where you buy the op and you've got to go down onto a judge. You're handing the op over to Famous, who might be the best opper in Pacific right now. I mean, looking at the numbers, and
Something is contesting that, though.
He was certainly trying to this game.
One map. Let's calm down.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say something's probably hands down one of my favorite Jets in the world.
Definitely entertaining.
So I'm very happy to see them and playing it on Ascent of all things. So I think we're going into map 3 now.
Fracture.
Which we originally didn't think was going to happen, or at least some of us didn't think it was going to happen. And Patman being our MVP, first time on the VCT Pacific Stage, getting MVP on map 2.
Both games, he's been great. He's been very consistent. I think PRX need another consistent player who could just play his role. He's just playing the init role. He's doing what he should be doing. I really liked, even on attack, you could see the cogs turning a little bit. KO on Ascent attack, you need to be sometimes an agent that can keep the other team in check to some extent. Your utility can very much, like I was talking about Shiro on Pearl side attack for Boom, you can be an agent that if you're reading the game, you understand what the other team's doing and what space they're taking in mains and stuff like that. You don't even really need teammates to hard take the control. You can KO knife, you can KO flash the defense off the line and deny them a lot of information if you're reading the game well. And you could see Patman doing a little bit of that. So even without as much experience on the big stage, you can tell that he's played a lot. You know, he understands the game and what the other team's trying to do.
So Fracture being the next map, PRX, we know this is the one map they're good at, really good at. And this was without Patman. So I'm curious to see now with Patman coming into this mix. I can already see a little bit of change coming from PRX from the first map and the second map here. A lot more communication happening and less of that hive mind and actually just playing like a team that talks to each other.
Yeah,
so
I have to say I'm nervous for Boom heading into map 3. Fracture is naturally a map that fits PRX style. We just saw on that Ascent how aggressive they were on their defense. And Fracture necessitates you to be aggressive on your defense. 100%. So it's a very natural fit. We also previously saw Jing move across to the Brimstone, where he was able to have a much stronger performance than he could on Omen. So I would expect to see that again, expect to see an uptake in his performance. And, you know, it's a map that's stylistically great for them. So I think Boom do have their work cut out in this map 3.
Yeah, this is just stage 1 data. In kickoff, they won it twice as well. They were picking it. This is a map PRX usually goes to.
Yeah.
So the fact that Boom, especially after the Lotus game that we just saw from them last week, they could have played Lotus. They were left down to Lotus, Fracture, and they said, we're going to play Fracture against PRX as the decider. They might be regretting that decision.
Okay, but to play devil's advocate on the other side, we just talked about how great this anti-strat might have just been from PRX, but we've always talked about how good Boom's anti-strats have been able to be. So they've been able to watch a lot of PRX's Fracture. You know, they've just recently played it in stage 1, so I think they might be trying to take a similar approach that PRX took in map 2 and trying to be a little bit more focused on the counter necessarily than what your own players are best of.
They've had some maps where they've had insane like reads and insane prep, like that last Lotus game that they played against GE. They were all over that. That was an insane defense that we saw from them. So we'll see what they're going to be bringing today. And not to mention, Fracture is not a map Boom's uncomfortable with. I mean, we've only seen them play it once in Pacific, which was against T1. They had a closed first half, and then they... Unfortunately, it was the third map decider, and in the second half, they just let it slip away. And that was the game that kicked off kickoff. Literally, it was the game where I was like, is T1 going to get upset by Boom? And then, unfortunately, they couldn't close the game and the series out, which is always my concern for Boom.
So I'm curious now how they're going to do this. So Patman coming into the mix does change things up. Boom hasn't shown stage 1 Fracture yet. Are they going to keep their comp so far? Based on what they both played, it's a very similar comp with the Neon. I think only the Sentinel was the main difference between the two with the Vice. And the Cypher. So I wonder if they're going to change it up. You're right. They have a lot of material, as in Boom has a lot of material to go off of to work on PRX.
But then I suppose if I'm PRX knowing that and I'm bringing in an extra player and I'm able to swap things, we saw, you know, how they were able to show their Pearl and, you know, the kind of double duelist approach. So I think if they want to kind of knock Boom's prep and, you know, try and take it to them. I also think double duelist is very effective. We've seen how great Jing is on Raze, so that's always going to be there, always going to be a pocket pick that they can bring back if they so choose.
That was T1's old comp. You know, they were playing like Neon Raze, things
Tim
like
Cina
that.
kan
So
SNS Korea.
definitely could be something that's on the cards. You're probably not going to see something on Breach, so what is he going to play? Because I'm assuming Patman is here to play Breach on Fracture. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I would kind of hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So Jing, I don't see any reason to not put Jing on the Brimstone. He was great last time. That's totally fine.
Oh yes, the Stim Beacon.
Yeah,
it loves a Stim bit.
And then
Jing on the Stim.
Who's playing the Senti? I mean, it could be Devi or Forsaken. I do actually like Forsaken on things like Sky and on the Teo when we saw it in kickoff. I really like positionally how he plays that Enit sometimes.
Sky?
So
What's Sky? Is that a new agent?
Yeah.
I think it's from some island somewhere, like Fiji maybe, or like New Zealand, Tasmania perhaps.
Well, we are going to be going into the third map of the series, and this is exactly what we wanted as fans, as audience of VCT Pacific, and the agent comps looks like has much changed. Guys, take it away.
Not too much has changed here, at least for PaperX compositionally, but role-wise, something is going to be on the Teo, so this is going to be a bit of a head-scratcher. Forsaken back on the Duelist, and Patman is on the Breach.
Boom, nothing different here, exactly as we would expect. Famous sticking with that Neon that he's been so good with, and of course running that Brimstone on Dust9. Dust9 needs to get himself into this game, if you ask me, and I think Brimstone is a perfect way to do that, because he's not been at his maximum capacity, but Brimstone can simplify that, so I'm really expecting big things here. Very, very similar comps, only the Sentinel difference. Pure head-to-head Valorant.
Yeah, Berserk's going to keep things old school on the Killjoys, so I think, you know, Boom have comfort roles. PaperX have once again changed things up in the third map decider, and last time against Gen G, that went horribly wrong.
Well, let's see if things go horribly right for one of these teams. This is the last map of the series as Boom go to playoffs. Or does PaperX finally get a tick in the win zone? We're going to go back to our casters.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Oh, hell yeah, I am so fired up for this final map because it is definitely very much so pure heads-up Valorant. Famous versus Forsaken on the Neon. But what do you think about this, though? Old school versus new school in terms of the Sentinels?
Well, Killjoy is quite the rare pick when it does come to Fracture these days, of course. You know, we're seeing it throw it on back, like Global and RRQ from memory running it, like last times, but still really rare. Comfort pick for Berserks. Though, Boom, on this attack, already starting to clear out Arcade, getting up towards Tower, something dispatched of, first casualty.
And post rotation's completely over. Still though, oh, this is two players now stuck inside a tower, but quickly dealt with as Famous tries to slide his way through. Now Jing answering back from Canteen, but at the same time, NC Slasher with that classic finds the right clicks. Dust9 just finding frags as well. Boom to pick up the pistol.
Yeah, getting activated nice and early. Dust9 this time as well. Shiro for 1 and a bit of utility too. You asked about Famous and Forsaken on this Neon. They had a bit of a smooch in the tower just then, but Forsaken wins that one. What I wanted to highlight though again is a lot of these different role changes that come back in towards this one, right? The buyback on the Vice, like that we saw on Ascent. I thought he was really proficient in how he was playing those sheer walls, timing on the Thorns as well. Patman, I'm going to be interested to see how his breach really looks here, because, you know, when you think of Patman, you do think most recently Flash Inits, right? We saw his KO, his breach here is something that he's hopefully going to be quite proficient on.
Specifically breach, it is his, you know, most played agent in recent history, but still, that remains to be seen as PaperX tries to rotate their way over. Of course, though, Berserk's happy to lock down this entire wave. It's Marshall online for the ace now. But something is still nowhere to be found. In fact, just hiding up around Canteen in a little corner behind the Sky Smoke, but...
Ace.
Oh.
Ace.
He's seen just making a bit of noise.
He was seen.
Mini-map at least. Famous trying to give him the ace, and there it is! Berserks to collect on it.
Hey, round of applause. 2-0 up for Boom, an ace to come in there. Some great shots out of the Marshall for
away for the
Berserks. What I want to also say though, we have had two extremely high kill performance maps from Famous, right? Map number 1, Pearl, dropped 27 kills. If you can remember back to Pearl. Map 2, Ascent, just then, 25, right? So he's over 50 kills. No one on his team is over 30 just yet for the series in 2 maps. So are we going to get a lot of more consistency from him, or is it time for someone else on Boom to step up? Conversely, over on PaperX's side, more kind of cohesive as a team, spreading the kills. But this is their bonus round, right? This is the one where PaperX have the better weaponry. This is the round that they should be winning.
Could even be both, but at least PaperX currently pushing out tree, spotted that everything is clear, now has to hold in towards the B site.
Jing kok jadi pengen smoke gini anjir. Full smoke gini anjir.
In towards Arcade though, pushing past the smoke. Jing with the stimmy. He's still going on a bit of a tear until he drops down. Forsaken to collect from tower. PaperX able to find a lot of aggression of their own.
Yeah, and Famous caught out in the high gear, unfortunately, was still just running away from Jing's fight. Didn't equip the gun to take that one on the site, but hey, PaperX, they are on the board nice and early, so we're not going to have any teams here really establish, you know, a huge lead like the 7-0 that we did see from PaperX over on the first map. And then how Boom, you know, over on Pearl as well, kind of ended the first half. That one, I guess you could still say is plausible for both teams here. But a lot of Fracture as well is going to be, you know, kind of what space you're going to look to contain, what calls you're going to look to do. Of course, Boom opting for Fracture here, questionable over Lotus.
Especially against PaperX, but yep, we shall see.
Top map control established for PaperX.
Throwing the gauntlet down against PaperX, but with that also, just to read how PaperX might be maneuvering across.
Two spotted.
Famous finds Forsaken, and that's going to be a lockdown deployed as well, but not the full commit just yet. PaperX still hanging out crossbench. Famous keeping them invested. Fast lanes through as well. PaperX needs to try to sneak past.
Yeah.
Has to keep their eyes trained down in towards tunnel as well still, because Famous continuing to poke and prod.
He's done his job though.
Yeah, that's just gonna buy a lot of time away from the spike. Now Jing trying to fire back, will be able to refrag, but Berserks instantly refills that position. Now you got tower as well. NC Slasher is holding that down like nobody's business. Something though. Okay, able to flick back towards it, but yeah, I mean that's the round already.
Yeah, the 1 versus 4 is not going to come out from something, unfortunately. Famous did his job, right? He bought so much time to keep them all occupied around bench, around arcade, making sure that they weren't going to be able to get in, destroy the lockdown. You got to respect that one. Everybody hitting their shots on Boom where needed as well. You got a good trade out there from Berserks, but more importantly, the amount of time that Boom was just able to buy themselves, it brings in more time to use these post-plant abilities, right? When you're going to get your salvos back online, you're expecting that DOS is going to have a couple of these lineups for the incendiary, or at least be positioning himself that he can kind of just rip that out where needed. The difference now that we're also going to have to see for PaperX to contend with is, you don't, as I mentioned, you don't see many Killjoys be played on Fracture anymore, right? So they also have to contend with these nanos that are going to come on out from Berserks.
Especially on the attack, possible post plants being found, at least right now. Interesting bit of an eco buy. The outlaw in the hand of Berserks. PaperX also, you know, going off some cheap plays of their own. Forsaken on the Bucky. He's just positioned up towards a main now, picking up the alt orb.
Yeah, overdrive available if needed. You could see something sneaky with the fault line from Patman ready. Forsaken a call, they'll rip on that one. And it is going to come on out.
Oh, shoulder jiggle.
Trap. We've seen this before. I think we saw 2 casualties.
Alt combos and the stealth drone out towards tree as well now. Here comes Forsaken with the overdrive, but he's shut down by DOS9. Berserk's finding a frag in towards the B side as well. So it's just a Vi trying to hold the off angle. He's been smoked off. Does have an arc rose to play with, and that's the fight.
Ya elah.
Oh, what a blunder! Something
Keplas diri
has to come up
sendiri,
huge.
cok.
1 on 3. He takes down the first. Does have some utility to work off of, but not quite a lot of health. Holds and hugs the wall.
Oh, they've snuck out, haven't they?
Sneaks in, and the stun reveals his positioning. You don't quite have the position to pull off the salvos either now, so you're flushed out. But he
Wait!
What is that from something?
The fuck is that?
A piece, and he gets the triple to collect the round up for PaperX. Don't forget to defuse though, please. Okay, there it is.
1 tap, 2 tap. Give me
Anjir.
more. Risen
Apa
from
itu
his
anjing?
seat. That is a round that I thought that PaperX were going to be out of in the 2 versus 3. Devi flashes himself, but for something there, I mean,
What a clutch.
he gets mollied out, right? Salvoed out. He's got a little small window of timing to find that first duel, but the second sharp shot, just the adjustment of the aim to come on out there. That is, we need to see this one back. You ready for it? 1, 2. Absolutely gorgeous.
In a second.
That's the stuff you can't teach.
Come on, lihat the fuck.
Can't teach that.
That's just in his genes.
Still though, ultimate's beginning to cycle through. PaperX needing to find the information necessary. So pushing out a tree along with the drone. Boom should be hearing this.
Kalau aku nggak bisa gitu ya, aku aja nggak bisa gitu.
All the responsibility falling on towards Devi's shoulders now. He's being hit with a lot of utility. The salvo is flushing him out of position where he's not quite able to recenter himself. Forsaken though, arriving on the site. Will be able to find a single frag, but Rolling Thunder now collapses through. Needs to hold out around a main where the door gets pushed upon by Famous. Jing though, happy to push into the smoke to just find a bit more space. Second frag found. Now a 1-on-2. Not much in terms of the utility department though. Just a smoke, an incendiary. And he has to really suss out these positions. So maybe a bit of smoke for cover just to allow him to deal with the site. So isolating angles at least for now. Oh, he actually pushes through. But DOS9 respecting it, does have the incendiary as well. So this is a really tough spot for Jing to be in. Flashes, dodged. Jing still strafing alongside. Everything's being found. NC Slasher just toying with his prey.
He knows as long as he's positioning himself around that pillar nicely, that time will be won because DOS still has the incendiary to be able to throw in, and he's just not giving him the fight, right? The way that that one is if DOS9 continues to keep the fight closely and allows him to just dance around that smoke. Yeah, I mean, DOS9 throws the orbital strike in towards A main as well later in the round to make sure that there's no quick flanks to be able to come on out as well. Technically, you could call that a bit of a wasted ult, but you understand the idea behind it. Yeah, a lot of trades to come on out. I like that Boom really did speed it up quickly, recognizing the PRX were coming from behind quick. And now they give themselves a little bit of a breathe room, right? They can take a solo round if they want to. They can do it fast as well if they need to. It is the lesser weaponry for PRX.
And this is where, I'm not gonna lie, it does get quite chaotic for PRX to try and read the possible plays because this is Fracture after all. And you just have Famous and NC Slasher bursting into the site.
Set yourselves up a good post plant here, not drop any more weapons.
You've got Armageddon as well, and this is how the ultimates are beginning to cycle for Boom, but not even needed for now, at least. NC Slasher,
which duel do I take?
Trying to pull off his best something impression, but it's not quite happening just yet. So Arc Rose now being tossed over by Divide to create a little bit more space, but can he really do it all? Not too much, at least just to pick up a weapon until his teammate falls. Boom, all happy to hold the positions and the angles. Simple shot found.
Yep, and that's just another A main protocol for them with getting in some early utility, not seeing anything on it, and then speeding up a little bit. So I'm going to be expecting PRX to do something a little bit different, come in towards this next round. You're getting into this half as well, where you're 4-2 down. Do you want to deploy a bit of a timeout to have a discussion here? I don't think it would be a bad idea from the likes of PRX to just have an early play to make sure that they're, you know, getting this round, the next round as well. 5-2.
No, though. I mean, this is where you really need to find your way across the map. Utility information is very much so key for a map that we're about to say goodbye to.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to think in the grand scheme of things what this does mean. Boom, the Ascended team that, you know, they lost Ascension, but they still got a promotion in towards it. Didn't have the greatest start over in kickoff. Now 2-0 up, looking for a 3-0. You know, we're seeing Ascension team really do some damage here in Pacific. I mean, you think to the likes of Americas, where you've got G2 really doing some damage, right? But apart from that,
and it's very possible, Komodo. This is, you know, leaps and bounds ahead from the meme boom that tied around the zip lines.
Yeah.
Now with the heads-up duel, I mean, this almost feels like a full challenge against PRX, like playing really similar compositions. Similar roles in terms of the players as well.
Yeah.
And kind of currently outdoing PRX in terms of the macro game.
Well, we're definitely going to need to see a adjustment from PRX here, who are going to gather some A main control nice and early at the investment of the salvos. Going to play the 4-1, leaving Famous to his own devices. You can see him activate a little bit later if you need. Your standard sort of wall in, overdrive can throw a bit of a spanner into the works of this one, and hope that you don't undo the wrong bolt at the moment.
Okay, well, at least PRX going for that pinch again, and it's going to be a bit of an empty position played by Boom. They try to flash themselves back into play, but something barrels through. The trade protocols are there for PRX, and it's just DOS9 stunned up.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Forsaken, he tried to do everything there, but the counter Neon in Famous is what I'm trying to
I meant.
highlight here, and it's just a little bit too late.
A little bit shy in terms of the timing, but still not undoable. Does pick up the frag and the spike. Has an opportunity to find his way into a site. The question is, which one is it going to be?
I like that Devi and Jin recognize that it's a 2 versus 1, and you can play to the strengths. You go towards the B site because Famous, well, if he goes towards B, you've got all your utility, but more importantly here, Quack, it's the numbers game.
Yes.
You play to the percentages, which is what PRX need here.
I love that you highlight that, Komodo, but I am also very much so reminded of a very similar scenario that we saw last week against Munchkin. They had numbers. It also kind of fell by the wayside. Can PRX prove everyone wrong this time? Spike will go down.
This ain't no haven though, Quack.
Mati
That's the
satu
thing.
di ulti nih.
No
Here we
dark
go.
cover.
Percaya nggak?
Famous 1 versus 2. Only his gun and his sprint.
Still positioned up top.
Timing.
PRX creeping forward,
Oh,
now
ketahuan
spotted.
dulu.
Famous knows exactly where to look. The spike will get defused as PRX smokes themselves off, goes in for the peak, and picks up the round.
Playing to the percentages, nicely done at the end there. Devi to get his first kill on the board as well. So hopefully that can bring in some individual confidence for him. PRX though, Quack at the beginning of that round, really W gaming in that one to take advantage with the stuns, with a Boom caught off guard and not really able to retaliate. A lot of great flashes to come on through. Credit to Patman, I do believe in that one with the stun, with the flashes.
Pada
And then
nonton
just the
PRX yang
advantage,
stressful
making sure
anjing.
that you don't drop that one. So on the back of the timeout,
Yeah,
answering nicely.
that there will be a play that
Stressful,
Boom
guys,
begins
nonton
to
PRX.
respect. You know, every time they try to push into the same main, PRX hits them with that utility if they are in position for it. So,
But the thing is, if PRX gather the full control in A main, they can quickly get a crunch down towards tree as well and make things quite awkward up towards this B site.
and that's exactly what is happening. The adjustments coming in from Boom in terms of the macro game.
Get out of
PRX
there,
though
get
trying
out
to
there.
get ahead of it as well. But we do have a slight repeat of the zipline incident from years ago. Now,
Hey, at least it isn't everybody.
yes, Boom still stopped in their tracks, and that is the main story of what's happening in this round.
Yeah.
Famous, though, trying to create some presence of his own while the Bravo squad heads over onto the A site. Something quickly deals with the early presence made known, and then a bit of a trade coming out from Jing. DOS9 a trade of his own as well, now looking for the opportunity to sneak into the site.
Yeah, you just-
Hatman alone to hold. He does have Jing right by him, but look at that spray. A bit of a
Nice,
trade coming
Jing.
out from
Mantap.
Jing, and that's gonna be the
Oh.
double kill to end the round.
Yeah, there were so many moments in that round of just different disconnected duels where you had to see some individual plays come through from Boom, right? And it wasn't really working.
75, 75.
Apart from that last duel that we really see, we're always doing it together in numbers. You got Forsaken and Patman in the beginning. You got that one that we see there, but the trades. The name of the game, the trades, really from PRX, not overstepping too hard. Jing able to double down at the end there as well to start to look to equalize this map.
And that's what I really love now coming out from PRX, beginning to catch up to Boom in terms of the macro game, getting the reads to smoke off Boom's advances, and then the trade protocols coming back through into it. So Boom trying to find some adjustments. They got a bit of a half by now, bunching up towards A main.
Great shot.
Nice.
PRX holds long range, reading
Tak ada killjoy.
attempts at a
Kita
play as
flank-flank.
well. Salvos though, and Forsaken looking to meet Break Famous head-to-head. Off
Kan
to the other
bagus
end,
retretannya
towards
gitu
A
loh.
main.
Nah,
The
gitu
entire
loh.
PRX squad descending upon Boom just to collect
Gitu
the
loh.
You see early on as well, Forsaken not dissuaded by all that early utility, not going to fall on back. He's got his team there to support him. He's just going to go in for the charge and catch PRX, catch Boom off guard. There's a lot of great shots to come out from them on this little lesser equipped round of Booms. And now as we do tie things up 5 apiece, right? I'm kind of questioning, are we going to get any decisions on the side of Boom? Or
Kita
are they happy
Talon
enough,
nonton,
right, to
Talon
hold
nanti
these
nonton juga
timeouts
kan.
for the
Pucuk
next
kan.
half? Are they happy with 5 on the attacking
Talon sih,
side
Talon.
so far?
You know, just the fact that it's 2
Anjing.
rounds left, you might imagine they're saving it. You have a lot of ultimates at play, though, for the remainder of this first half. And Boom happy to hold this time as PRX pushes out, completely punished.
The turret!
Jing, though, trading right back, and then the rest of the squad to head on over into the A site.
Berserk's the turret was shooting him, and he just wasn't able to find it in the full chaos around the tree. But now, a 2 versus 3.
Fairly chaotic.
Into the site, and look at the post-plant utility that Boom are going to have here. Salvos will come back online, and Armageddon You got a Rolling Thunder and an Aftershock, and where you're planting it, you do set yourselves up for walls to be able to use a lot of that.
So a possible save for PRX, but something does have the Armageddon as well. If he's able to deploy it into the right position, might be able to find something more.
They've got a lot of money, so you're definitely going for it.
So right now, coming out towards Dish and Drop. A little bit spotted out. Famous continuing to jiggle, looking for an opportunity. Rolling Thunder at the right time, though, does crunch into the players from PRX, but Jing saves something's life. And that's going to be now the stun. NC Slasher just playing that situation to perfection back there, swapping over onto the shorty.
Yeah, and ripping the Rolling Thunder off the back of the contact as well, right? As soon as those smokes do come on down, you know that that's going to be go time to kind of catch them none the wiser. The duel in the tree, this time, we're crediting the trade game of Boom, right? Able to find the player advantages, swinging back over towards the other side. A little bit of an overheat from Famous. I will say that one there. For which team? For both teams.
Both, yeah. Just completely erupting in Rapture, but still, this half is not over yet, and we still have ultimates at play.
If something has the Armageddon at the right spot and it's positioned towards the site on the back of the shear, that could have really hurt Boom if they wanted to go close. But sheer timing to reset, and Quack, there's 4 ults for Boom here.
That's right.
You could just set up for a lockdown, you could force out an Armageddon, you could try and force out the Steel Garden.
Ults for PRX as well. And that's why they are positioned so defensively. They've been pushing out for the past few rounds, and Boom read that in the previous one, being able to find those trades back in.
Oh.
Now all of a sudden, just a bit of utility, and that's a Rolling Thunder sent in towards Arcade. Boom reads this as the go signal into the A site. Armageddon right on the spot, though. It's just Famous and NC Slasher into the site. DOS9 into the smokes as well. Oh, Forsaken, Famous, he's trying to get ahead of it all. Brimstone ults all across the map. Lockdown in play as well. Forsaken able to hunker down, but DOS9 for the trade. That's a bit more space in towards spawn now. The rest of the PRX squad all coming out from main.
Still got the Armageddon, remember.
Aftershock, Boom still happy to hold. They don't quite need to fight, they don't quite need to peek, and that's where the onus falls on the PRX.
Armageddon in 5 seconds till salvos.
Just holding, just waiting for it. PRX still trying to barrel their way through, but nothing much found, just a bit of a frag. Jing takes down NC Slasher, but there's the utility. Goes in for the peek, tries to isolate more duels.
And that's it.
And that's a salvos. The time has been burnt. Jing knows it, the round is over.
7-5. That's a good recovery on the last 2 rounds there from Boom, I will admit. And this round as well, PRX a little bit confused on what space Boom had found, right? Around Arcade, putting in the Rolling Thunder, sending in Forsaken with that overdrive as well to fully clear it on out. You've got a lot of different positioning that come out from Boom, but they're so patient when they get in towards the site. I mean, disregard Famous trying to take a duel against Forsaken pretty much towards the spawn, but the rest of the squad, they are very focused on protecting that spike, buying time, right? You've got all of those exit strategies with the Armageddon, with the salvos, with the crossfires to come out as well. NC Slasher with the shorty, I mean, playing a couple of strengths there as Boom, but I want to know, right? Is 7-5 going to be enough for either of these teams on the switch up? Right, are we going to get a really good lead out from Boom here, or from PRX, or are we going to get a lot of backwards and forwards action, right? Because Fracture a map, when you've got these 4 different chokes that you can start things off on, you have a mistake at the very beginning, you could be pushed into an awkward save, and that's the sort of situation where coming in towards a map like Fracture for the likes of Boom, who haven't had that much play on it, right? Recently, at least, could see them crumble a little bit.
Yeah. Great cosplay from the fans at least, but you're absolutely right, Komodo. It's going to be tough to say who exactly could come up with the lead, but one thing we can say for sure is the fact that it all begins with that pistol. That's just top-tier analysis coming out from me anyway. But no, it's very much true, because that dictates the pace for the entire rest of this half. And at least looking at statistics right now, Boom leading very much more so, given PRX's recent losses. You got to be able to read the game as well, and Boom has, again, just been doing such a good job of that.
It does look a little bit more comfortable from what I've seen so far for PRX as opposed to when they were playing Waylay. I will say that, but I feel like you've still got a couple of key people who are not really getting activated as best as I thought they might be.
So maybe now with Patman in the roster trying to launch something different, that you actually went for a very specific route through tunnel. Boom kind of gets a sniff of that, so with the stealth drone, trying to suss them out, but doesn't see too much.
Yeah, Devi's seen nothing in A main, so there's a call here for the squad to come on over. You can contact on up at the moment, and you actually might be able to overwhelm Berserks and not see NC Slasher be able to activate.
They are traps in of their own right as well, though. Berserks and NC Slasher, they've been pretty darn good so far, and that's going to be that fault line. NC Slasher coming in with the support. Trades found for Boom.
Oh.
But PRX finds their own trades as well. A third one now as Shiro gets taken out.
Going
Famous, though.
Before the flash is a bit ill-advised.
It's a little bit tough, but still DOS9 now trying to get ahead of pressure. Does push Devi out of position. Low HP as Forsaken tries to hold the off angle, but now as he turns back around, that's another kill found for Boom. Jing, it's all down to you. Low HP as well as he swings out. DOS9 to find the easy shot in towards center mass.
Nge-smoke sana, nge-pick sana. Udah tahu musuh di situ satu.
Stuns in main as well, right? Both sides getting stunned up. You got salvos awaited for. You got a flash then going in for NC Slasher, but he gets spotted out just before it's able to fully activate and blind up PRX. Again, the trade game and the patience from DOS9. You might have seen him look to really wide swing out in towards main against two members of the PRX boys. You know, imagine if he falls there. It makes it very difficult for Famous to be able to try and close out the round or get down from drop. So the fact that DOS9 falls back just a little bit and then it goes into the 1 versus 1, HP advantage of that scenario for DOS9, and he's able to just dispatch of his enemy, which means here, Quack, we got another pistol round going the way of Boom.
And that's beginning to be that defining factor for Boom as well. DOS9, I mean, such a calm presence for the team.
And his absence on the previous maps as well, right? Finally feeling worth here.
And looking at this as well, I mean, the Sky Smoke's instantly deployed to block off A main. PRX thinking to explode off of it. They come into this round with a force buy of their own. And this is buy that needs to pay off in dividends.
Oh, absolutely. If this round doesn't go your way, maybe even convincingly, it makes it really awkward for PRX.
Famous.
Lots of
Sidestep the
stuns.
fault line.
Oh.
A relay ball from Forsaken as well, just to push them back.
But it's balanced.
Still, though, it's a round where PRX needs to find
Low,
and seize some form of an
Force
initiative.
mereka, Cok.
And it's going to be Famous seizing that positioning instead.
Yeah.
Still, though, trades found right back.
No one able to really help him in that situation, unfortunately. So 4 versus 4 in towards the A site. You start to get on up.
4 versus 2 maybe if you're just talking about the Boom players on the site itself. But look at Shiro stopping them in their tracks, completely halted as PRX tries to push past the smokes. Can they find the frags? They don't. It's the
Pala
find
niya
a
sekarang
single
niya.
one before Shiro just descends upon them with a full Stinger magazine.
Nge-force.
I've been a little
Alah.
bit hesitant to say his name in this
Push
one so
sekarang.
far because playing on this Teho, 1 assist, right? No successions really coming out from the drone for the team to find any kills on the back of. No major salvo plays, no stun salvo traps as well to net him a kill, right? He had 2 kills in the first half. Now he's just doubled that one up coming in towards the second. He could be calling a masterful game behind the scenes, right? Very well possibly could, which is where the value will come from him. But if he can get his self-confidence into this one, likewise a Divide for PRX, it could be the missing factor for one team to really propel ahead here.
That's right, that's what it is. You know, Shiraz, the IGN now beginning to step up. Meanwhile, PRX once again with a half buy now coming back in. It's going to be a little bit tough as Boom are looking a lot more confident. The stun, though, will help out just a bit. Jing to answer back. And now the stuns coming through once again. It does give away in positioning, though, but still, PRX not quite able to break past through these choke points.
And they're locked. They are locked in. They have to either fully disconnect here or they have to try and just win it. A single duel. That's all the info that Famous needed.
And more of the lines being locked down, especially with the Outlaw being reloaded. Just Stinger and Spectre, something at hand, trying to spray through, spray past. It's not quite happening. As Boom splashes PRX with a bit of cold water.
Yeah, and that was another bit of a force up for PRX in that round too, right? So now you're playing on the back of your loss bonus to get you these primary rifles. You're still going to have Patman, who's down on towards the Spectre coming into this next round. Understandably so, right? His goal in this sort of round is going to be to get a good stun for his team, to get good flashes, to provide them the entryways in. But there really needs to be a different look towards PRX at the moment, right? Because you drop the pistol. Oh, why did they...
Marah, Cok, Alex, Cok.
That's a rough one. That is a
peeking.
really rough one.
And it's a real question that we do have to ask, because right now,
Parah
in
le,
this
guys.
very round, if PRX doesn't find a round, this could be it. Boom. Very much comfortable in their sights. A little bit of a flash out though, and Forsaken tries to answer back. Sprays through the smokes and does find a double. A bit of an opportunity for PRX to answer back.
You got to remember, bullets through smokes can be traced. Two-player advantage for PRX at the moment, and you know Quack, the Boomer, going to give this one a crack.
Happy to, but Patman, recognizing that as well, holds the position. Famous in with the Outlaw now, spots out Forsaken. DOS9 taking that opportunity to peek out. Famous now finding the trade, and both Neons kick things into high gear. Forsaken off towards the other line, expects and anticipates the slide out. Jing to support, and PRX will be able to save themselves.
Yeah, we really need some good macro decisions from PRX at the moment on this attacking side, because it looks like that Boom is quite happy, you know, to try and find these isolated players. A little bit unfortunate at the beginning of this round that Berserks was caught off guard in the tower. You know, if he's able to lock down the site as the Sentinel himself, it would make it really, really awkward for PRX. But hey, Forsaken sent in on the back of that drone. Nicely done for them to get on the board, and they've got a couple of these key ults, right? Orbitals for both sides, Forsaken with the overdrive.
Famous on the op though this time.
That's it. That's the next thing I was going to mention, and we know how impactful he can be, and he's on the line.
Gotta be so careful, but unfortunately,
he wants more.
Forsaken will bite the dust. Stealth drone out, so they know exactly where he is, but PRX looking to re-challenge. Famous now fully blinded, has to back off.
Yep, and you can reset here, right? Devi has got the shear over at A, so you know no one's gone for a proper flank from Boom, and they don't necessarily
pula yang mati
press the
pertama.
issue. They've got a player
Gimana
advantage.
masuknya?
They've still got a lot of this utility that they're yet to utilize.
And it's still a really tough game for PRX, and this is where I do kind of want to bring up a point of discussion. You know, I know people have talked about this before, but someone might need to step up in terms of leadership for the team.
Yeah, it's what I said a little bit earlier, right? And how do you do that in a round such as this, where your entryway in Forsaken is gone, right? A contact play up main, Boom happy enough to play probably retake here.
Yeah, Orbital in the hands of DOS9. Famous still happy to re-peek with a lot of these angles as well. At least PRX though doing their due diligence to try and block them off.
Ready for a stun for NC Slasher to Orbital Strike Combine. And that's red and at least dodged on the side itself.
30 seconds left, and you're starting to feel that pressure. Will PRX crumble, or will they stand tall? Something at least tries to fend them off. But DOS9 to punch right back.
Rolling Thunder in, it'd be really good here.
Hatman trying to get the best possible timing for it. Stunned and concussed up. He's just waiting for the go signal. There it goes. Unfortunately though, Boom, they've avoided most of it. Famous coming out from the A main position. Patman trying to slow him down. In with the spray,
Nice.
with the support.
Nice.
PRX being able to collect a round right back against Boom when they're feeling the hottest.
Yeah, just so much crucial time being bought from Devi on the Thorns as well, right? Just waiting for the Flood retake to start to come in from Boom. You got the Rolling Thunder out there as well. And just the fact that something's able to find one kill. DOS9 gets elevated and dispatched off. And then you've got a little delayed crossfire a bit later on the side itself. Nicely done from Jing to close that one down again, you know, on this Brimstone, right? Doesn't necessarily need to always be caught out with the iPad. Some good timing on some smokes, and then he can really focus on that crosshair.
Still though, those rounds are far and few between. PRX back on the advance.
I'm a little bit surprised at how hesitant Boom are to use utility to clear over at main, having already seen Devi's shear. You want to pop that, throw a bit of hesitancy in it.
It is a round where they are sitting on an eco, so happy to surprise PRX with some of the positions that they're holding. Here comes that first Sheriff shot. Looking for a bit more.
Player advantage, by the way.
The stealth drone goes out as well. PRX looking for the spike plant, but it's not entirely safe. There it goes. And Boom possibly looking for exits right now. Salvos to flush them out of position. PRX throws back utility of their own, while Boom looks to close in the distance. Out by tower. DOS9 finds one. He finds two! Devi, though, able to hold it off. Needs a little bit more. He peeks in!
No salvos.
Zero answers back. And now it's just a 1-on-2. Something needs to find all of it. He feels the pressure of the spike being defused, and he peeks out. The molly burns hands at something's feet.
2 shots out of the Sheriff is going to stall you, then into the flames, and you will not carry on, unfortunately. A thrifty to come here for Boom as they inch 1 step closer towards the series point.
And that's Armageddon for Shiro as well.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the Armageddon in the end there, and it was 1 away for kind of both of them, right? So the fact that had the kill gone something's way, potentially could have used it for DOS9 to get off it, but yeah, just the timing, the molly to not necessarily go for the kill, right? It's the scare tactic to make sure that if he's going to take the duel, he's going to die.
This is a much-needed timeout.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly dreaded by the players as well, because
I mean,
the rounds have been
haphazard.
Yep.
And you got to remember as well, when Alex got really, I don't want to say angry, but it kind of looked at it, right? When you've got a force buy upon a force buy at the beginning of this half, you have essentially delayed your start towards this second half and given a round over towards Boom, where the scoreline, you know, if that didn't happen, it could have been 10-7, right? It could have even had you in the lead and a change up because you start to get your gun rounds earlier on, right? We're not in that universe right now, but it's an 11-7 where this has to be an extremely important timeout to, you know, have an immediate effect. This needs an immediate effect in this gun round for PRX. And it's not even a great looking gun round, Quack.
Yeah, Bucky, Spectre.
But you do have the overdrive for Forsaken, so if you can somehow get him on the right line early on.
On the attack, though, still not the best winning percentage for PRX currently. Boom, on the other hand, you've still got that Armageddon, 1 away from the lockdown on Berserks. NC Slasher close to the Rolling Thunder as well.
Yeah.
And look at this.
There's a change up over at the B side as well with where some of this utility is, right? Turret to play contact over towards the top side of the map, where you've got the alarm bot and the nanos at the choke of the entry from tree. So if PRX wanted to play Stally, well, they can be held at bay for a bit.
Overdrive, Steel Garden, Armageddon as well coming out from bench, but nothing found. Can Forsaken find a little bit more to keep PRX invested in the game? Tries to hold tower with the Bucky. That would be an optimal spot. Armageddon from PRX as well. But still Famous, beginning to find an opening. The spike is down and PRX needs to hold, but they're beginning to push out a little bit more. Trades found by NC Slasher. Now Famous looking to take space up by tower. Trades found by Jing once again. 2-on-2, but something holding the exposed angle. Now it's a tough spot for Jing to fire through. Tries to clutch it out, but DOS9 finds it instead. Boom will reach series point.
The trades, man. PRX are looking so good in the trades, but it's just the difference in having 1 member up or down at a lot of these points. I mean, the goal for Famous to just jump on in through the incendiary in tower as well, send it through there, does get traded, but NC Slasher on the kill towards something. They already know where the last soldier in Jing is, and he's just burning up again. This is now series point for Boom Esports, who aren't going to win this in the 2-0 fashion if they get it here, by the way, but it means that they should qualify for playoffs.
Yeah, right on the cusp of it, and they feel it very much so. PRX now, last breath, last stand as they buy up Guardians. Bit of a Vandal for Davai, but still, as they try to push their way into the site. Orbital strike at hand as well. Famous re-peaks with the Outlaw. Forsaken answer back. But now, a lot of the site being smoked off. Something has to hold out towards top, but Shiro trading right back. Numbers advantage somewhat, but NC Slasher has an angle. Petman at least, the spike down, waiting for the fault line to come back alive. Forsaken has to play a very careful jiggle because he's pretty much sandwiched in. Flashed out.
There's salvos now.
And a lot more as well. Tries to flush Patman out of position. Here comes that fault line. Forsaken springs! Looks for the slide in! And that's the Guardian to keep PRX alive.
I mean, I say it time and time again, stuns in this game are pretty cosmetic when you can just still hit your shots like that as Forsaken. I thought that there was going to be, you know, the special delivery or the drone to go in a little bit earlier in to start to clear towards the site. That would have found Forsaken potentially in the 2 versus 2, and maybe it looks to be a little bit differently at the end there. But Shiro not opting to do that one, unfortunately, waiting for the salvos to come on up. more importantly, PRX, they do hold on, right? So they need to
kalah
navigate
aja
4 more
dah.
rounds to try and push us into
Kalah
overtime.
ini.
There's gonna be some
Udah lah, go
ecos, some
next.
big old gun rounds, and I'm waiting, right? I'm seeing for
Go
Boom, you take the mid in this
next.
one, you got an orbital, you got a lockdown, you're getting closer to an overdrive.
No Toronto.
Either because they're happy to go in for that scuffle against PRX. Forsaken though,
Wait.
looking to collect as much as possible. He needs as much as possible for the rest of the map. You can see it all written over his face in the previous player cam. The situation is tense right now, Komodo.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Planted.
This is one of those rounds for PRX that they should be winning with 5 alive.
Should be.
And they may. Hey, they may.
12-9 and Boom looking to hold for exits at least. Something beginning to peek out. We'll spot out DOS 9.
Yeah, and the thing is, it does more damage in these scenarios to PRX than it would to Boom, right? Because they already have the ults for the players that are alive. There's 1 gun down, so 1 is the pass mark. You'll be able to re-get that in the next round, but, you know, it's 3 more rounds, right? It's just going to take 1 little misstep for PRX here, and that could be the series. And I'm looking towards a couple of these ultimates, right? There's a reason they're called an ultimate. They can be round-defining. In this one, they can be series-defining in the current point that we're at.
Enemy remaining.
Possibly playoffs defining as well. Not just for Boom, but for PRX as well. Again, this loss will seriously affect their chances of possibly making it through. Currently sitting at an 0-2 overall.
Yep.
Boom now looking to push out a bit more information outside of Tree.
Some rotations towards the A side, and if you go there as PRX, you're contending with a lot of this Killjoy utility. But it is on the quieter approach. You do have that alarm bot at drop first for Boom to get an idea. They've also, more importantly here, Quack, pushed out Tree and seen no contest from PRX. So this is going to be one of those full retake rounds for Boom.
Especially with that possible lockdown as well.
Wait,
As long as
send
Berserker
it loh.
goes undiscovered, but
Ah.
spotted out by Jing, so lockdown gone. But you do have a player up towards spawn. Fakey, main as well. PRX has to hold it safe. Something playing into the drop position. Jing now pushing out. Devaya as well, but now Famous comes back in through Sands, where he finds Jing's head. No more Teho in play. Devaya to duke it all out. 1-on-1.
It is planted for him.
No Arcros though. After shocked out, an NC Slasher trying to clear as much as possible. Goes in for the tap, the flash. He
2 kali nge-flash diri sendiri.
He bounced off of it.
2 kali nge-flash diri sendiri.
How did that just happen? NC Slasher clutching out the round for Boom. The final scoreline, 13-9. This team wasn't even really supposed
2 kali
to be
dia nge-flash
here,
diri sendiri,
but here
Davai.
they are.
They have absolutely come
2 kali nge-flash
with a
diri
storm
sendiri.
behind them, propelling them forward, haven't they? That is not a 2-0 fashion this time, Quack, but it is PRX being shut down on the map 3, and all 3 of those maps had moments of brilliance from every single player, from the team collectively, but a couple of missed decisions from PRX's side in this map here on Fracture
Ulang kah?
specifically. And
Ulang nggak? Mereka masih main, cuman poin buat ke Toronto tuh
I'm
pasti
still at a loss for how
susah.
that final kill went through.
Masih main.
We've been
Bayangin lah,
mentioning how this
kalian udah kalah
one
3
of the
kali.
That was a flash.
Yeah.
But he
Kayak
still
kalian udah pasti
turned
nggak ke
off of it.
Toronto gitu.
And that's just
Terus
pure
kalian
instinct coming into
dipaksain
play.
buat
Boom.
main terus gitu.
They've been great on the macro. They've
Ngapain,
been
anjing?
stopping PRX in their tracks.
Poinnya udah pasti nggak
They're
nyampe, anjing.
taking their very much well-deserved bow on the stage.
Gotta give them this
Capain
moment
badan
for
aja.
sure, don't you? We get to hear from somebody for them, but you just have to know how excited they are with this win.
Truly ascending forwards and upwards inside of this Pacific group stage, stage 1, and we will hear from them a lot more as Jen steps onto the
Tinggal
stage.
2 lagi. Pertandingannya tinggal 2 lagi.
Boom, continuing their winning ways. Congratulations, guys. Now I'm gonna need Mr. Famous over here. 붐 e스포츠의 페이머스 선수 만나보겠습니다. 박수 부탁.
Map, how did that just happen? NC Slash scoreline, 13-9. This team wasn't even really supposed to be here, but here they are.
They have absolutely come with a storm behind.
Pertama kali lah mereka nggak lolos nggak sih biasanya.
That is not a 2-0 fashion this time, Quack, but it is PRX being shut down on the map 3, and all 3 of those maps had moments of hope. Every single player from the team collectively, but a couple of missed decisions from PRX's side in this map here on Fracture specifically.
Guys,
And they like my word.
walaupun
I'm still alive.
perjuangan kita sudah kalah 3 kali,
We've been mentioning how the stuns are somewhat of a cosmetic. That was a flash.
tapi
Turn off of it. And that's just pure instinct coming into play.
kita harus percaya bahwa masih ada 2 kali kemenangan lagi.
Just keep holding angle.
That's it? Okay.
Oke,
Would you say you're one of the best?
2 kali kemenangan pun
saya
겸손하게 아직까지 뭐
memang kita di bawah sekarang,
아닌 것 같고 그래도 그냥 뭐 각만 잘 보고 어떤
tapi
건지 알고 있기 때문에 그냥
bersatu kita cerai,
같다고 그게 오퍼의 비결이라고 얘기를
bercerai kita runtuh.
그러면 다음 경기는 진짜
Masih ada 2 game lagi, kita percaya, kita dukung.
상대하게 될
Semoga 2 game ini PRX menang di 2 game terakhir
하고 한마디 부탁드리도록
dan
하겠습니다. Now, I feel like next week is going
masuk
to be a big
ke
test.
slot nomor 4.
It's going to be DRX. 4 in a row, maybe.
I hope.
Nah guys, kita gua malas juga nonton ini, Cok. Malas nonton Talon sama S. Udah ya. Udah aja gak sih? Udah lah gua. Capek gua nonton. Oke. Sampai jumpa ntar malam, guys. Aduh. Mario kok pindah ke sini? Gua udah mau udahan, Mario. Gua juga udah mau udahan.
Boom close this out and they are officially qualified for playoffs and doing it on
Emang
this
apa?
fashion on Fracture. What a way to enter.
Bukannya 3 tim doang, PRX, Cok. Bukannya 3 tim doang yang diambil.
They only
Emang
dropped their
4.
first map today in week 3 and bounced right back in map 3. You would have told me that that's an Indo team, that's an SEA team. It's able to look so
Thank you, Mario,
consistent,
Renya Mario.
so composed. I wouldn't have believed you.
Tarik ke siapa ya? Gua udahan juga sih.
What a pleasure it's been to watch them.
Mau ke siapa, guys?
Wasn't even famous doing the majority of the dirty work this game. You had
Mau ke siapa? Gua malas nonton ini anjir. Malas nonton Talon Talon sama NS. Mau nonton aja kah? Gua malas jujur. Kalian mau nggak? Viewer Bang Rio. Kalau mau kita tonton.
Even hitting like one taps on a neon, you know, bunny hopping at him and
Tanya
moving
Indo
around
bersinar kan?
absolutely everywhere. So
Harapan gue tuh gini tadi, Cok. Kalau misalnya PRX menang tadi lawan Boom, chance buat dia ngambil slotnya tuh lebih tinggi, Cok. Jadi gue Boom kalah pun dia nggak tergusur juga gitu yang buat slotnya udah.
Especially given that second half was PRX's attack on Fracture, which the last 3 games in a row has been
Pernah
stellar.
berapa
Like,
baru
it's
datang.
been
Udah
3
kalah PRX.
insights for them
Rap,
in a row.
kocak lu. Ini
Boom
udah
was able to put
match
that
baru
away.
lagi.
What do you guys make of the
Talon
I
lawan
think we had a
NS.
little bit of a different opinion here. Alex, we could see the coach cam when he got furious when they bought 4 spot twice in a row. But big time, you think that's not what went wrong?
It's not that crazy, right? So you buy the stingers, you know, you're trying to like steal the round, and if that doesn't work, you can afford stingers
Ya kita
again.
Indo Pride
and then
juga.
afford, like, so you kind
Indo
of
Pride.
like,
Maksud aku tuh
it's a risk, you take a hit, but you know, it's
ya
not possible.
kalau
I
bisa
think
ada orang
the
Indo
football
yang ada orang
community
Indo
is
lagi di
something
tim
they've not
negara
practiced,
lain
like
kan
if the
ya
players aren't
bisa
good
aja.
with stingers and it's not something they have reps in, then it can be a
Gak
problem.
usah slot lagi,
You know,
pulang
it's not
langsung
the
aja ikut
safest way to
turnamen
manage your
warnet.
economy if you're behind. It is a risk. So I could understand them
Kayak gitu
being
ya,
you know, a
nggak
little
boleh
bit
gitu,
upset
guys.
by it if it's not something that they have pre-prepared as an idea. But as an idea, I don't think it's
Tapi emang harus
So that
dirombak sih
wasn't
nggak
the
sih?
problem then.
I mean, I don't think so.
I think the problem is just they're not North American and they're
Yeah,
buying
they cut-
stingers so much.
I mean,
And-
The way it
Nah,
works
nih,
in
tip
LA is they
terakhir,
practice with the stingers. You see them do this again and again and again.
Kok
and
liquid
the other
media,
regions
goblok?
don't use it as much, so when they do use it, they're not as good.
Okay,
at it,
guys, PRX is actually really good with stingers. I have to put that out there, but that definitely didn't happen because Boom held it down better. There was a little bit of a zipline situation.
besok
a little
ada
bit of a
EGE.
hard race 2022. Boom when Berserks went down on that zip line, but it doesn't matter because they end up closing out this map. So this is going to be huge for them. NC Slasher, like you guys were talking about, MVP on this particular map.
Yeah, on the other side of things, I mean, Jing was fantastic, but NC Slasher, I mean, he's one of these players that's very up and down.
PRX lawan
missing in certain maps. And of course, he doesn't play a role on the team where he necessarily needs to be fragging super hard. But I even remember going back to their Ascension run, in a lot of those maps where he was playing the flashing in, he was playing things like Sky, and he can sometimes be super explosive, like flashing for himself and just multi-fragging. He has some very, very crispy aim on him, as well as the ability to be able to play within the team structure.
So I have to talk
FM
about
belum ada menang, GE juga belum ada
we're
menang.
eyeing him since map 1. Famous.
Ya, gitulah.
It's been
Doain aja semoga
absolutely
menang guys ya.
phenomenal. Just starting off with those op kills, obviously less ops as we want, you know, you don't really see that so much on Fracture there, but just absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, we're a part of the match MVP selection process, right? And for me, it was an easy choice today because I thought he's looked unbelievable. As you know, in the past, Famous is, what's the word?
Inconsistent.
Biasanya minggu keempat nih, minggu keempat.
Inconsistent
Kata
in
nggak
the
sih?
past.
Sorry,
He has been inconsistent in the past.
But now into stage
Total
1, he looks like a
ini,
different
menang-menang.
player. I mean, I feel like he's been so solid the whole way through. He was solid the whole way through this series. I mean, he's leading Boom from the front.
I think he has good adaptability in terms of his agent pool as well these days. Like, I think back in the day, you know, he was not really a player that could play Neon as much. He was more of kind of like raised Jet for Famous a lot of the time. But now he's really adopted his agent pool a little bit more. He's playing a little bit of the Neon. I think he played definitely more so within the structure. And I think that's how Boom won that game. Like, they very much won it with their approach and with their team play and the way they played a lot of those mid to late rounds.
Like
I said, that comes down to their ability to play off of each other and have really, really good protocols. So some great character development for Boom. And I think I'm really looking forward to seeing the next game against TRX, because that's going to be a team that if they beat them, there's no excuses. There's no, oh, this team's not playing well at the moment.
Udah, ini kita mau kita pindahin kemana, Cok? Ah, gue males banget nonton, Jing. Susah nonton gak sih? Fokus ke PRX. Gak tahu.
So once again, Boom is
menang
the
dua,
first team to
menang
qualify
dua kali pun.
officially to playoffs. Again, one of our
Doain aja lah
Ascension
tim
teams
GE
doing
sama
so.
DFM.
So this is huge for them.
Menang.
Continuous improvement every single time we see them. PRX
Kalau
is
menang
not out of the game though. Still 2 more matches for them to go and try to secure their spot in playoffs as well. And after this short break, we are going to have another Ascension team, of course, from the other group facing against Talon. So we're going to have Talon and Notion facing off. So guys, don't go too far away.
Kecil. Ntar kita pindahin kemana ya? Info mau dipindahin kemana, guys? Kita pindahin ke... Baik. Kita lihat dulu stream orang nih. Koci masih nonton, kita pindahin ke Koci aja kali. Apa kebijakan Mobile Legend? Ya kita pindahin ke Koci aja, kita pindahin ke Koci guys. Dadah, sampai streamer Ciwi ya, ke Koci ya. Bye bye guys, thank you semuanya. Bye bye.